Hello and welcome everybody to Level 38, a video game podcast. That's how we start the show. That's how you start a fucking show. Welcome. This is episode 3 of Level 38, a video game podcast. We are, of course, streaming this live as we record on twitch.tv/WillJWood. It will be up on the YouTubes and on the iTunes and all the lovely places that you get audio and video podcasts. Of course, I am joined, like always, for at least 3 times in a row now, with my co-host and my cohort, Sean McCann.
Thank you for having me once again, Will. It's a pleasure, as always. Yeah, it's fun. We'll talk some stuff. I was busy all day, so doing a little late show, but I think we'll get along just fine. It'll be nice and fun. But I think we got some really good topics here today, and we're going to talk a lot on it. Probably avoid some topics that I wanted to talk about because it's not really worth mentioning. But yeah, we're going to have a good time.
Of course, now we have to delve into those topics. But before that, let me finish the rigmarole. We're almost done. Of course, you can find us on Twitter. You can find Sean here at SmashSpite. You can find myself at Will J. Wood. And you can find the podcast itself at Level 38 Podcast. And if you have any questions or topics or things you want to integrate or let us know into future episodes, please feel free to tweet us at Level 38 Podcast or send us an email to level38podcast@gmail.com. I am your host, Will Wood, and we're going to kick off episode 3. So, before we get into the video game news of the week, of which, for those of you who don't know, this particular podcast is basically where we discuss topics in the news, but only shit that we particularly care about. So we're not going to discuss everything that happened in the news over the week. It's going to be almost entirely PlayStation and Nintendo focused, but there are little bits of other things in here and there. And like last week, before we jump into this, I need to talk a little bit about Star Wars. Basically, because, as most of you are probably aware by this point, Star Wars Episode 8, that's the one that comes after Episode 7, you see. It has been delayed. Sean, and I know you don't care about this because you don't know what Star Wars is, but it's been delayed. It was originally supposed to happen, I believe, May 17th of 2017. It is now December 17th of 2017, an extra 6 months. Basically, the reason behind it is because they had to rewrite most of the script, supposedly because Episode 7, The Force Awakens, was so well received. I'm sure you know it's like one of the top grossing movies of all time. So well received, and the new characters were so well received that apparently in Episode 8 they were going to introduce a whole bunch of new characters and sort of scale back some of the ones that were in Episode 7, and now they're like, oh, no, we gotta make it all about these new characters from Episode 7. They're gonna make the new characters a smaller part. In Episode 8, they're rewriting shit. So, personally, I'm totally cool with that because I love the character of Rey and Poe and Finn and Kylo Ren, all the new characters, and I'm okay waiting a little bit longer for it because we're still only getting 2 years between movies, which is still way better than the originals were 3 years between each. We do have that other incidental movie coming in between them, so there is enough Star Wars to go around. Star Wars Rebels, there's the comics, there's tons of Star Wars stuff. I think if it's going to make a better product overall, then I'm totally cool with that. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought for a moment I thought it was going to be delayed until next year around October, but I guess I was wrong. I was kind of reading up on it today, but yeah, as Will mentioned, like, I don't really pay much attention to Star Wars. I plan on rewatching the originals. I want to watch them, the unedited ones, but from what I've heard, that's not really canon now with all the new edits and everything added in there.
Have you never seen Star Wars, like, at all?
Not that I can remember. I know, like, bits and pieces.
Okay, well, that makes me very happy because I've always wanted to show somebody Star Wars in what is my opinion the best way to show them Star Wars. So you should let me take your Star Wars virginity, is what I'm saying.
I mean, if you're willing to do it, then see what I did there. Willing to do it. But yeah, I mean, like, if you're down to give me the opportunity to bring in some Jar Jar in my life, I'm more than happy to.
I have a very special way of viewing the movies. I have the Blu-rays on my shelf right there. Yeah, no, this is exciting. Has your girlfriend ever seen Star Wars?
She has, but I believe she wants to watch the originals as well. So that'd be a good idea. Yeah, just kind of catch up.
All right, cool. Well, we have there's plans for Star Wars in the future now, so that's good. But let's do the show that we're here to do. Oh wait, now before we jump into these topics, now you said that there were topics that you wanted to talk about. I don't know if you know they're already in here or not. If they're not, and you said you didn't want to talk about them, I want you to fucking talk about them.
I'll just briefly mention a couple then. So Bravely Default's or Bravely Second and Lair went up on pre-order for Amazon.ca today. I was just notified by my friend probably around 3:30 p.m. today, and I quickly ran back to my place. I pre-ordered it right away, and it was sold out within 20 minutes. So that's unreal. If it's anything to be said about the first Bravely Default game, it's gonna be amazing. The collector's edition of the first game was stellar. There was everything included in there. There was soundtrack, CD. You got your art book and all that, and same thing is included with Bravely Second, so that's really good. Other than that, One Piece Burning Blood, that was announced again, but with more characters, add-ons. If you're a big One Piece fan, highly suggest looking it up. They put in Gear 4, which is probably a huge spoiler to those who only watch the anime. I don't know, some people think it's a cool thing. But yeah, it's really cool. He's a bouncing man. Pretty sweet. I would check that out. Other than that, I'm gonna start. I think I'll start making a list of all the JRPGs that are coming out, and we'll probably talk about that on the show more often because we have a lot coming out this year.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of JRPGs. Of course, you got your big ones: Final Fantasy 15, Persona 5. But there's tons of little ones mixed in there too. There's Digimon, Cyber Sleuth Story. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. One that I'm personally excited for, fine, Galgun. Yeah. There's also Cosmic Star Heroine, which is it's really cool. It looks like Chrono Trigger. It's 16-bit. I will talk about it because it's getting released this year. We'll talk about it when it's relevant in the news. Yeah. It's not relevant right now. So yeah, absolutely. Lots of good stuff. As we discussed ad nauseum last episode, 2016 is going to be one of the best years for gaming. So, okay, so there are 16 pieces of news today, or tonight, or whenever the hell you guys are listening to this, because of course we record this 3 or 4 days before most of you will hear it. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. It's almost all PlayStation and Nintendo centric as per usual. There's a little bit of PC talk in here, not too much. Again, as always, in no particular order, we'll just jump into the news and into the topics and get things going. This one, first one up on the docket, comes to us from Destructoid over at Destructoid.com. Kyle McGregor writes, Mistwalker is recruiting for new project. It looks like Lost Odyssey and The Last Story studio Mistwalker is staffing up for a new project. On Saturday, company founder and Final Fantasy dad Hironobu Sakaguchi put out a call for new employees, specifically mentioning his team is in need of monster and background designers. Sakaguchi also mentions the word new, which in a recent interview with Famitsu, he explains is his mantra for 2016. In addition to continuing to support Mistwalker's mobile RPG Terra Battle, the plan is to begin production on a novel new project with a new worldview later this year. Unfortunately, Sakaguchi didn't get into any more specifics. However, when I interviewed him, of course this is Kyle talking, when I interviewed him in 2014, he mentioned a desire to try to make another surfing game, referencing Mistwalker's surfing action title Party Wave, released for mobile devices in 2012, which, if there's, any sanity in the world, nobody fucking played. Mistwalker has, because really, a mobile surfing game by the father of Final Fantasy? Actually, maybe I should look into that. Mistwalker has also toyed with with a ballet dancing game. Sakaguchi told me during the same meeting. Sakaguchi said he even took his team to Paris to do some research and suggested if Terra Battle performed well, we might see the ballet game. Of course, it's been quite a while since then. Who knows what other sorts of design concepts might have crossed his mind since then. Don't worry, my cat does that. It shouldn't be forgotten, Mistwalker has also promoted a console game inspired by the world of Terra Battle. However, as of May 2015, the development team had not yet begun pre-production. Now, very interesting because Mistwalker, of course, relatively new studio in terms of course, founded by Mr. Sakaguchi, who was like they said, the father of Final Fantasy. I remember the first game and my favorite game. Now we have Last Story here. For those of you who are listening to the audio, we always put a video game in the video of the podcast. We're featuring The Last Story today. One, because it's obviously relevant to what we just talked about, and two, because it's hard to find, and I want to show off that, hey, I have it. Yeah, exactly. Now, Last Story I've not played. I've played a little bit of it. I've heard it's good. It was kind of dated when it came out already. Sort of moved on to everything. The Wii U, the PS4 was on the horizon, all these things. What I will say, though, is that the last... not the Last Story. Lost Odyssey on Xbox 360. Fucking fantastic. Fantastic game. I loved that game. It felt like the true HD next gen Final Fantasy to me at that time. Very choked that it never came out on PlayStation, but I was playing Xbox 360 at the time, so I did love that game. I used to own it, but somebody stole it from me or something. I remember it was so hard to find that game because I didn't even discover it until after it had come out, and then I found it in a Blockbuster video, brand new for like $20, and I was like, fucking A. Anyway, so good things there. It's always good to have more of those games coming out. It sounds like it's going to be obviously a traditional RPG in that aspect. My only hope is that it does come to PS4, and I think even though I don't think Mr. Walker has put anything out for PlayStation yet, it would make sense due to the momentum of PS4 and JRPGs on the Vita and the PlayStation 4 and that kind of stuff. So personally, that's what I'd hope for, but who knows? So what are your thoughts on this?
I've only briefly played Last Story a couple times. It was good. It was really fun. From what I've heard, the story's amazing once you get forward into it. It was the second best one out of the big three that came out.
The only thing I know for sure is that everybody talks with an Australian accent in it.
Same with the other two games that were previously released. Xenoblade Chronicles has a British accent, sort of. And then you had Pandora's Tower, which was the third game of the big three that came out. I forgot what they codenamed them, but it also came out with little medallions per each game, according to Club Nintendo.
Wasn't that Operation Raindrop? Rainfall?
Yeah, it was Operation Rainfall's doing that the game even was pretty much released because of all the hype and all of their all of their just constant communication with the fans and just getting across to Nintendo. They were the ones that pretty much brought it over, and it's because of Operation Rainfall today that you see so many games getting all the attention that it really deserves. So they're really cool guys and girls, I imagine. Check them out. They got really good reviews, and that's how I pretty much find out a lot of games that are coming out. One game that I never thought, going off topic, would come out would be Galgun. It's coming to the West sometime in the summer. That's coming out on the PS4 and PlayStation Vita. So that one's going to be really good. But going back on track there, Lost Odyssey was really fun. Yeah, I didn't play too much of it, but it was a good enough RPG that I wanted to keep playing. But unfortunately, with my Xbox 360, I just didn't play it too much, so I kind of gave up on it. But really got high hopes for these guys. Father of Final Fantasy, I need it in my life. It'll probably be a day one buy. I'll see how it goes, but I need more hard pressed gameplay. I need more character designs. I want to know what I'm working with here before I even make a final judgment on that. But yeah, that's my final thoughts.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I agree. It's a good thing. I'm excited for it. But having said that, I still think there's definitely a place for Final Fantasy as it stands now. I think Final Fantasy 15 is going to be great. I like the more traditional turn-based style, but I totally like action RPGs as well. And I think that the Final Fantasy 7 remake is going to be better for being action-oriented, as long as it's handled properly in context of that game. And I think Final Fantasy 15 is going to be great. So yeah, you insisted on talking about Galgun, despite the fact that I already had that up as a topic. So thanks to you, I now have to choose this topic next. So that was your segue, your doing. over at Destructo.com, our friend Kyle McGregor, he's not really our friend, we don't fucking know him.
Nope.
But again, Kyle McGregor again, writes, Galgun Double Piece is coming west this year. Inti creates bizarre pheromone blasting rail shooter Galgun Double Piece is targeting a Western release across North America and Europe sometime later this year. P-Cube just announced. Now, can I just say that P-Cube just sounds like pube and looks like pube when you see it.
I'll accept it.
Just saying. I don't have a comment on that, just an observation. Here's the publisher's synopsis of the upcoming PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita game. When Hodai, the portrait of an uninteresting normal student, is shot by a Cupid angel named Ekoro, he becomes immensely popular. In the blink of an eye, every girl at the academy becomes insanely hot for him. By the way, when I've just decided that if I ever read an official description of a game on this podcast, I'm going to read it in a voice like that. But being irresistible to the ladies is hardly a dream come true. Every love letter, shout of adulation, or advancing kisses will drain his energy. He has to stay strong, because if Hodai doesn't find one true love by the end of the day, he will become cursed and destined to be forever alone. Fend off the other girls by using Hodai's Pheromone Shot, a power granted to him by Ekoro that sends the advancing hordes of girls into fits of ecstasy. Only by keeping them at bay can he find his true love and confess to her. On top of that, the title boasts a branching narrative and 450 underwear designs to discover.
Yes.
Now, I don't have much to say about this other than I'm probably in. I would probably pick this up on PS4 rather than Vita because I want them high-def panties. But you already spoke about this a bit. I'm sure you have more to say on it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. This is a Sean topic for sure.
As a couple of my followers may know, I don't have too many followers, but those of you that may be in the channel that know me, pretty big into JRPGs. I've known about Galgun for a couple years now. The super best friends played it, or two best friends played it. Really ridiculous game. It was one of the most ridiculous games of that year to come out, and you just pretty much, I think it was on PlayStation 3 and with the PlayStation Move, and you would shoot the girls and they would make little ooh itayo kind of voices, and that was good stuff. And anyway, so they were laughing at that, and I never expected it to be released here. So now that it is, it's a good sign and a bad sign at the same time. I could see some of it being censored, depending on how North America feels about censorship. I don't want to go into that right now, but it's really good because that means a lot of localization teams, like Xseed and Atlas and all of them, are really becoming more lenient when it comes to localizing games, and it's great because I want more games like this. I want more they need to start bringing over dating sims for everyone, because I know lots of people that would love them, not digitally, physically over. I know there's lots on the Vita right now, but they need it here. But anyway, that's a tirade. Galgun's gonna be super fun. It's gonna be one of those games that you play with friends, not one of those ones that you I'm gonna hardcore play and get all the trophies and get all them underwear pantsuits, because that'll die really quickly. It's definitely a good party game to play with friends. Don't play while your parents are home, or if your spouse or significant other, because they're gonna walk in, they're just gonna be oh, Sean, why? Every time you're first your laptop and now this, and it's no, really, it's not what it seems like, and it's too late, they're gone. But yeah, it's gonna be a good game. I can see it being same retail value, but yeah, that's my thoughts.
Are you buying it physically?
If it comes out physically, yes.
And if that is the case, you will lend it to me?
Yes.
All right, and then I'll stream it on twitch.tv/WillJWood. Anyway, sounds good. I'm in. I mean, I got Akiba's Trip, so I'm into those kind of games. All right. Next topic comes from the PlayStation blog. Paul Alexander, who is the designer of this game, writes, Republique launches on PS4 March 22nd. Now, I know a lot of people are excited about this one. Howdy, folks. This is Paul from Camouflage. I'm really excited to announce that Republique will be coming to PS4 on March 22nd. Some of you might remember Republique from our hair-breadth success on Kickstarter a few years back. Now, after many years of development, the 5-episode Republique saga is finally ready for launch. The upcoming PS4 version will coincide with the completion of the 5th and final episode, so all PS4 players will be able to experience Republique in a complete, long-form fashion. For those of you not familiar with Republique, it's a story-driven stealth action game heavily inspired by the 32-bit era. At the start of the game, players form a partnership with Hope, a young woman trapped inside a secret totalitarian nation called Metamorphosis. From there, players hack into surveillance cameras and guide Hope to freedom over the course of the 5-part campaign. Every episode introduces new enemies, environments, puzzles, and thematic elements, all feeding into a heavy commentary on privacy and security in the internet age. You might be surprised to read this, but the decision to bring Republique to PS4, what the fuck is my cat doing behind me, was not an easy one. As many of you already know, our team here at Camouflage put lots of thought into... Okay, this just keeps going on. I'm not going to read all... Holy shit, this is a long... Oh my god. Holy shit, eh? Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you who don't know, if you watch...
Just scrolling.
These dollar bills. Okay.
Scrolling.
For those of you who don't know, if you watch my gameplay on Twitch, I have a character that I devolve into named Donnie, and he just, oh Jesus fucking Christ, what the holy God. So when I'm like losing at video games and stuff, so that was a Donnie moment right there.
Sounds like a very Italian, stereotypical Canadian voice where he's like, "Oi, golly gee, eh? Like, I don't know," and stuff.
Yeah, except not Australian, but yeah. It was a little Aussie in yeah.
That's better than me.
So yeah, Republique is coming March 22nd. If you're interested in this, go find out more. Do you have anything to say about Republique? Because I really don't.
Honestly, like, can't say I've heard much about it, so, no. Not particularly. News this week has been very sparse for me because I've just been like super tied up with stuff. But Republique is definitely one that has flown under my radar. Yeah, can't say much about it.
Cool. Yeah, me neither. I put things in that either I or you or both of us are interested in, then I put things that I know they're just kind of like generally people care about them. And I've heard a lot of things about Republic. And it sounds cool. Stealth action adventure. I'm into that, so I might check it out. Okay. Next piece of news comes from Richard Walker over at PlayStationTrophies.org. Says Street Fighter V and Far Cry Primal 1TB PS4 bundles revealed. If you're looking to grab a PlayStation 4 in a month's time, and of course, this system is unstoppable momentum-wise. They're already over 36 million. I personally believe they could hit 50 million easily by the end of 2016. This will be one. These bundles will be part of that for sure. If you're looking to grab PlayStation 4 in a month's time, then you'll have another 2 choices to add to your shopping list. With a pair of bundles on the way this February, Sony has revealed the Street Fighter V PS4 bundle with a physical copy. Now that's important, physical copy, because a lot of those bundles just have the digital copies put in. Of Capcom's upcoming fighter, a Jet Black 1TB PS4 console, and a DualShock 4 controller, and the Far Cry Primal PS4 bundle, also with a physical copy of the game, a Jet Black 1TB PS4, and DualShock 4. The Street Fighter V PS4 bundle will be available on February 16th, while the Far Cry Primal PS4 bundle will be out on February 23rd. They are just straight Jet Black systems. They don't have anything specifically about them. Now, this, of course, is the European release dates. So we don't know for sure they come into North America, but they almost certainly will. And those 2 release dates coincide with the game's releases, so I assume that may come out as well. I think that's cool. I think it's good to get the 1TB PS4s out there because 500 gigabytes is just not enough on the PS4 system. Having said that, the extra, you got to be careful with that because the extra money that's worked in to that 1TB is not, because if you get a 500 gigabyte, like if you can get a really good deal on a 500 gigabyte, go for that, because you can get this anywhere. You can go to Amazon, you can go to Best Buy, you can go wherever. You can get a Seagate 2 terabyte, what's it called, quick drive or whatever, and it's just got a 3.5 millimeter bless you, or Robitussin. You just got this like a laptop SATA drive in there, and you pop it out. You can get it like consistently for under $100, and you pop it out, you stick it in your PS4. You got a 2 terabyte drive. Then you take your 500 gig out of your PS4, you put it back into the casing, and you got a little 500 gigabyte drive, which I personally use now as like my media drive. So for under $100, you can get a 2 terabyte drive. That's almost certainly going to be cheaper than what you're going to pay for the stock drive on the 1 terabyte. So just something to be aware of. But it's always good to see more PS4 bundles coming out, more options for people. Like the PS4 has been fucking killing it, obviously in all regards, but especially in bundles. Like you just see bundle after bundle after bundle, whereas Xbox One is getting maybe a couple bundles a year. PS4 is easily getting like a dozen bundles a year. They're really hitting it off with their marketing with the third party support out there. So I just think that's great. Of course, Street Fighter V, for all intents and purposes, is a first party game at this point. I mean, it's exclusive. It's console exclusive to PlayStation. Yeah, it's on PC. But I mean, I don't really count that because in my opinion, you've got PC gamers for the most part. There's obviously some mix, but you've got PC gamers and you got console gamers. And console gamers don't give a shit what the fuck's going on over in the PC world. And PC gamers don't give a shit what's going on over in the console world. So as far as I'm concerned, if a game is PS4 exclusive, then on like console wise, it's also on PC. Well, it's PS4 exclusive, right? And that's how I think a lot of console gamers and people who give a shit about PS4, that's how they see it. And it's the same thing with Xbox One. But then Xbox One, of course, almost everything now, even their first party stuff, is going PC and Xbox One. And to me, my thoughts on that are like, I understand why you're doing that because you've got like this big base of PC gamers, but I also feel like if you want the Xbox One to sell, you need to give reasons that you have to go to Xbox One. You have to go to PlayStation 4 if you want to play Uncharted 4. You have to go to PlayStation 4 if you want to play Last Guardian. You have to go to PlayStation 4 if you want to play Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever. Whereas on Xbox, you want to play Gears of War, well, you can go to PC. You want to play Halo 5, you can go to PC. You want to do all these things. Like, they're not making it so you have to get the Xbox One. But you know, Microsoft obviously has the whole Windows thing and all that. But anyway, your thoughts on all this?
It's really good that they're doing both Far Cry and Street Fighter. Big 2 games coming out next month, which is amazing. I'm super excited for Street Fighter 5. Been waiting for that one for quite some time since Ultra Street Fighter 4 didn't really satisfy me, especially with that PS4 port with their shenanigans that happened for the first month or so of release. It's way too many bugs, but they fixed that. That's all besides the point. Far Cry Primal looks really good. Got a lot of hope for that game. Good step back from like first-person shooters and just like flying around doing nothing. Kyrat with all of the enemies and main antagonists and stuff. But yeah, Street Fighter V is gonna be huge this time. Now that they've got all the kinks worked out with it. We got that season pass to look forward to with the 5 extra characters or 4. It's going to be amazing. That's definitely going to come over to North America. I'm pretty sure it's got to. But as long as it comes with that physical release and not a digital one, guarantee it's coming over to North America no matter what. Because I've heard a lot of places now, like game stores, like Best Buy, GameStop, and all that, is only accepting PlayStation 4s that come with a physical game inside, not digital. Because obviously it's bad practice because you can't trade in the games or sell them.
Another thing I've noticed too, having been in the retail space both as a rep and as working in the past, I do know that is becoming a prevalent issue with people, but like especially at a place like Best Buy. And I'm sure it's a little harder to pull off at a place like GameStop, but a place like Best Buy or Walmart or whatever, you come in, you buy a PS4, you buy an Xbox One, whatever, you take that digital code out, you use the digital code, you stick that back in the box, you return it, and the store can't do shit about it, right? Like they'll send it back to Microsoft or back to PlayStation or whatever, get the new code put in, but essentially people can buy these systems, take the codes. There's really no way to track who's used it or what's gone on with it. I mean, you can, but it's not worth it for a store like Best Buy or whatever. And then there's no proof of that either, right? Because even if PlayStation tracks down, oh, you use this code in the system, well, what's to stop you from saying, well, I don't know, my friend gave it to me. Like you can't prove that you did that. So that obviously is becoming an issue as well.
Yeah. And then going forward with like Xbox and their sales, they've had some pretty good bundles, and like for Christmas they had a really good one. It was Tomb Raider. You got Rise of the Tomb Raider, you got Rare Replay, Gears of War Ultimate, Ori and the Blind Forest, and I believe there was another game in there, but it was like a 5-pack set, and that came with it was Boxing Day sales over in North America here, and that was a really good seller for Xbox One. But like other than that, there's not too much going for it. Rise of the Tomb Raider is coming to PC pretty soon, and then I guarantee you in the fall they're going to announce like a Game of the Year edition for Rise of the Tomb Raider for PS4. And then that's just it's going to disappoint a lot of people, because I know people that wanted Rise of the Tomb Raider specifically for Xbox One. They thought it was on Xbox One only, up until we are seeing now on like Amazon and all them doing placeholders or getting leaked for both PC and PS4. And people are like, oh, well, like, why didn't this get blah, blah, blah? And it's marketing, it's Square, but notably it's because of Uncharted. Like Uncharted 4 was supposed to be out last fall, so November of 2015, but it got pushed back, and that was around the same time as Rise of the Tomb Raider. So I'm pretty sure there was a deal in there to kind of compete against it and make Rise of the Tomb Raider an exclusive to boost those sales, but that has not done much.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we haven't really had much of a opportunity to talk about Rise of the Tomb Raider yet in any of the episodes we've done. Of course, we'll have that leading up to the PS4 release and the PC release, which is imminent. However, I would say just quickly, I do think that Square Enix most like it's hard to say what they're doing behind closed doors, because I know they obviously got a lot of money from Microsoft on that. I do think that Square Enix probably feels they made a mistake in that regard. The game got fucking crushed this November, which we all knew it was going to happen, but I don't know how much of that is necessarily because it wasn't on PlayStation, because I don't know that it would have sold that much better even if it was on, like, it obviously would have sold better on PlayStation. There's a higher install base and whatnot, but I mean, Fallout came out and Battlefront came out, and that game, Tomb Raider, was destined to be sunk under all that shit anyway. They really should have released it like around right now, like in February, March, would have been a great time for it. Having said that, I don't know what the future for Rise of Tomb Raider is even on PS4, because now they've got this whole group of people that they've pissed off for the PS4 version. So it comes out a year later, and it's like, well, these people feel hurt that Square Enix would do that or whatever. So do they even pick up the game at that point? And if they are interested in it, now you're looking at Rise of Tomb Raider is going to come out this fall around Horizon Zero Dawn and Last Guardian and all these huge games that PlayStation has out there, and VR is going to be a thing and all this stuff. Is it just going to get buried under that all again? I don't know. I know Rise of Tomb Raider is a great game. I've heard it's a great game. I'm sure it's going to be great. But I feel no matter what, that game is going to be in rocky waters moving forward.
For me, I think they're either going to push for November, depending on how many games get launched, if it's Horizon Zero Dawn coming out in the fall or whatever games. I'm sure Square's got a plan, an idea. Maybe they'll have another collector's edition, something to push that game, because it has a bunch of potential. It's a good game. I know people want it. It's a platformer. It's going to sell. Maybe they'll do like a deal in there, throw in another game, like throw in a like, oh, get digital code for like the original Tomb Raider or something. I don't know. But I feel like it's going to be a good seller no matter what. Definitely not going to be as big as this fall's games, but if they throw in like a Game of the Year edition with it, I feel like it will still sell regardless.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I think it'll sell. I don't know. I just feel like that whole entire game just has a little bit of like it's a little bit doomed, just a little bit, just no matter what. Like it's shitty timing in all regards. That was a very lengthy topic about those PlayStation 4 bundles. So moving on, because we just talked about Street Fighter, let's talk about another fighting game, which, by the way, for the record, I don't give a shit about fighting games at all. I like Smash Brothers, but that's more of a party game in my opinion. For me, the way I play it.
You're going to spark some people.
The way I care about it. Okay. I'm not into fighting shit. But here's the next piece. From Chris Carter over at Destructoid.com. Surprise! Mortal Kombat X is getting its own complete edition. In a totally unexpected, and that's in quotes, turn of events. So I assume that means sarcastically.
Yeah.
In a totally unexpected turn of events, Mortal Kombat X is getting a Game of the Year edition of sorts. It's called Mortal Kombat XL. And it's packaged with the core game as well as both combat packs. That includes the first one that already dropped and the upcoming weird-ass human xenomorph pack, which, of course, is like their alien crossover.
That's a great idea.
It's going to arrive on that's, just like the Terminator was in this year's WWE 2K16. It's going to arrive on PS4 and Xbox One with retail version 2 on March 1st. That doesn't even measure up to a full year from launch to the Game of the Year package. If you've been holding out, that's your time to jump in. Mortal Kombat X is pretty great overall, and it's going to get better soon with a shift to a whole new netcode system. Now, as I mentioned, I don't really care about fighting games. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm sure it's a fine game. That game, from relevancy, because I'm very, ingrained in gaming culture and gaming news and that kind of stuff, seemed to be like, oh, game came out and then just fucking immediately dropped off the face of the planet. Nobody really talked about it or gave a shit about it again. Now, obviously within circles and Evo and like fighting circle, although I don't think Mortal Kombat is super huge in like the Evo ring anyway. No. But in terms of like people who care about Mortal Kombat, that's the thing, sure. But gaming as a whole, like you look at, and actually I have some of the featured topics that we're going to talk about, like the best-selling PlayStation games for 2015 and all that. Mortal Kombat is not even in the mind space as far as I can tell. I mean, maybe you have more insight to that than I do.
Mortal Kombat went through a lot of development process. They went through a lot of criticism. They went through a lot of bad marketing. They went through so much hell in that process. It was supposed to come out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. That got canceled not even like a week before the game was supposed to come out. They, from what I've heard, they ported it to PC. It did not go well either. Like a lot of games from WB lately have not been good on PC at all. My experiences with Mortal Kombat are very simple. Mash buttons. Like, that's all it is to me. Mortal Kombat's a great game. It's the flagship fighting game other than Street Fighter, to introduce like gore, to introduce like fatalities and decapitation and all this stuff. It's what started the ESRB rating. But Mortal Kombat X to me it's still slow. Like it's very like punch, uppercut, punch, toasty, like that kind of stuff. After it, you don't see it on many shelves anymore. Like, and even when it did, people wanted it, we didn't have it. And that's what it was. And when people played it, you'd see people on Twitch, they were great, but there was a couple people that were like, combo got him. And if anyone has watched Twitch Mortal Kombat, especially on PlayStation 4, you will know the combo got him squad. And that guy got a lot of flack. Great guy, just super cheap at Mortal Kombat. And that's what it is to me. It's a button masher. Again, great game, but the XL edition is just going to add some more DLC characters. And that's what you want to pay for. Like, in terms of fighting games, always wait another year or 6 months until you can get, like, a full package game. Because hiding DLC or unlocking a Season 1 or a Season 2, it's just better to wait.
Jared Prime in the Twitch comments says, fighting games aren't really for me. And I agree with Jared Prime. So we're going to go start. We're going to go start a no Mortal Kombat's club. But we can have one. So we'll take Mortal Kombat 3. Or Mortal Kombat Trilogy, I suppose. That was a Simpsons reference for anybody who didn't get it. That's okay, Sean. You also don't fucking know Star Wars, so... Next topic here. This is one that I think we'll both care about. A little bit more relevant to our interests. Again, at Destructoid, Ben Davis writes, Sony, love that there, Sony, might be considering a new Tokyo Jungle, based on some recent tweets by Sony producer Masaki Yamagiwa. Nope, I probably fucked that up. Yamagiwa?
Sure.
I don't know, that's Yamagiwa. Yamagiwa. Yamagiwa-san.
That's racist.
It's not racist. There may be, according to Masaki, his surname, there may be some interest in making. That's not racist, Sean.
I'm just gonna let you sit on that.
How is that You know what? Fuck you. There may be some interest in making a new Tokyo. No, because it's not racist. It's not even. That's a legitimate thing. It would be. How is it? Okay, racist. No. Listen, racist has to be In order to be racist, it must be like with bad intent.
Don't do it.
I'm just saying. There was nothing hurtful about that. There was nothing. What?
It's because we're white.
So what? So anybody who's not white can't, like, I don't know, what, have money? What are we stereotyped for?
Not making Japanese accents like that and butchering their last name.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I'm an actor, and also I just... Anyway, so this dude on Twitter, he's a Sony producer.
Okay.
There may be some interest in making a new Tokyo Jungle. Yamagiwa had a meeting with Crispy's president, Yohei Katawaka, developer of the original game. Roughly translated, Yamagiwa says, Yami, I'm going to call him Yami. Yami says, "We had a meeting about Tokyo Jungle after a long time. I'm with Tokyo Jungle's main members, director Katawaka and Sugano. We want to make something. I would be thrilled to see a sequel to Tokyo Jungle." Of course, this is editorial at this point. The original was an arcade-style survival game where you could play as a whole wide variety of animals fighting for food in post-apocalyptic Tokyo. Playable animals included everything from Pomeranians, lions, chickens, ostriches, elephants, and even dinosaurs. It wasn't perfect, but it was absolutely relevant to my interests, to this guy's interests, and became one of my favorite PSN titles based on premise alone. I would generally agree with all that. I think it was a good game. It was a fun game. I should probably stream it at some point on Twitch. Twitch.tv/WhatToWin. Anyway, so it's cool that there's interest now. I don't necessarily think that just because the three of them were meeting, that necessarily means it's going to be a sequel to Tokyo Jungle. I think if anything, it may be like a spiritual successor. But anyway, more of that gameplay style would be good. I think fuller fleshed out. It'd be kind of like how Portal was a great concept, and they went and made Portal 2 and made this whole fleshed out retail package. I'd like to see something like that with Tokyo Jungle, give it a platinum trophy. And when I say that, I mean give it enough content that it warrants a platinum trophy. Give it like a full... I think that the original game probably had enough content to warrant a platinum trophy anyway, but I don't fucking understand platinum trophy requirements, and I don't think anybody does. But anyway, I think more Tokyo Jungle is a good thing. Mm-hmm. And not a bad thing. And that's one thing, and I'll let you speak your mind in a sec, but I want to just say in general, this is just a general rule of thumb, because I have friends shocking, right? In life who, and I'm thinking of one in particular, I'm not going to name any names, but no, it's not you. But yeah, sorry to disappoint you. But basically, he's very opinionated. Now, this is a bad thing, but he's very opinionated about things and has these very strong opinions that if there's something that he doesn't like or doesn't care about, he almost gives off this air of like it shouldn't come out. Like, for example, Final Fantasy VII port, the PC port, not the remake. He doesn't give a shit about that at all. And he was very upset about that announcement and all that stuff, and that's fine. Of course, the announcement of the remake was coming 6 months later anyway, and I explained to him, I was like, this might be, testing the waters, blah, 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 whatever. But regardless, I was more excited for the PC port because I love the original game's graphics. I love the original game as it is. I just wanted it to have, to be all cleaned up and look really nice, get me that platinum trophy that I love so much, the new translation, which is important, and all these cool things about it. He didn't give a shit about that. He kept going saying that this shouldn't even come out. Like, he didn't want it even to come out. And at this point, I'm just like, you know what? It's cool if something's not for you, but don't try to take something away from other people because you don't like it. It's like The Simpsons. When The Simpsons came out in like the early 90s or the late 80s, early 90s, and people didn't like it. Well, first of all, it was a great show, and most people didn't even give it the time of day and just, some 10-year-old kid saying hell and damn, let's get the shit off the airs. But the point is, even if you don't like it, where is your right to step in and say other people can't have it? You know what I mean? Like, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Go move on to what is for you, and don't try to take shit away from other people. So in general, if you're not into a game like Tokyo Jungle, that's cool. Don't fucking play. It's like all these indie games come out all the time and they're announced, or they go on to PlayStation Plus, and everybody complains, well, I didn't buy a $400 next-gen system to buy indie games. It's like, well, if you don't fucking want to play indie games, you can continue to wait for your big next-gen games, which always take 2 or 3 years after a console comes out. This is not new. Or you can play the indie games and have something to play in the meantime, but if you don't want the indie games, fucking move on. Don't play them, but don't take them away from people who do like indie games and who do give a shit about that. So that's all I want to say. Now, your thoughts on that or Tokyo Jungle?
Excuse me. So yeah, both topics I'll talk about. Tokyo Jungle was a stellar game. Once you learn the mechanics of it, it's super great. I believe you can play as a raptor at one point. I believe that was the thing. You could play as a raptor.
I didn't finish it.
You should have finished it. Twitch, yeah, twitch.tv/WillJWood, right?
I'll play it.
Thunk. But yeah.
Start a Twitch channel and I'll plug you too.
All right, yeah, let's do it. I just need a better recording. I need a recording device, and
a lot of equipment.
I need too much equipment and a better computer. But besides the point, Tokyo Jungle was great. I picked it up on sale a couple years ago. I played as a Pomeranian because that's what I wanted to do. And you get to rip stuff apart. It's awesome. You get to like run up to animals and you're like, brrr, and then you like kill them and then you feed and then you can have little babies and you have little dog Pomeranians running around. It was sweet. And then you get killed after like just when you're about to get that trophy for like staying alive for 100 or something days, and you get killed on like the second to last day, and you throw your controller and never mind. But yeah. But I'd really love a new Tokyo Jungle or like a, again, spiritual successor, kind of like a Mighty Number 9 to its Mega Man. That's what I want. And yeah, that's my thoughts on Tokyo Jungle. I'd really, 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 really want another one because that'd be so cool. But yeah, I don't think there's too many games like Tokyo Jungle out there. It's something that needs to come out more often, but I feel like it wasn't as well received when it first came out. Like, I feel like a lot of people saw it and was like, oh, this is a game, cool, and kind of brushed it off to the side until it was on sale and it got like really good and like reception one day, and then it kind of boomed.
I think it was on PlayStation Plus at one point, or maybe not the American PlayStation Plus, but it was on the Japanese PlayStation Plus, and I know I had a month of PlayStation, because I had a Japanese account when the PSN went down in 2011, and they gave all accounts like a month of free PS Plus, so my Japanese account got it too. So that's where I played it, I think.
Really briefly, when PlayStation went down like a week or two ago, PlayStation's been sending out vouchers for 1 free day of PlayStation Plus. That's a bonus for everybody, except for that one day that we didn't have PlayStation. Sony, I honestly didn't care. It's one day. It's not going to kill any of us. It's not like last Christmas and this Christmas when all of PlayStation went down because Sony's servers and all that stuff. It's not like Lizard Squad attacked. It's not like Anonymous shut down the servers. It's no big deal. It's one day. Like, it's great for Sony to like kind of like, oh, we're so sorry we got shut down for 24 hours. Here, have an extra day. Like, that's really nice. But it wasn't necessary. And anybody that gave that backlash they're being silly. Like, the nicest way possible.
Yeah, I agree. Although not Lizard Squad, but a different squad did threaten to take it down for a week this Christmas, but the Xbox One and PS4. But apparently they didn't. No, but they did threaten to do it in 2015 as well. But apparently they didn't. Yeah, no, I agree. I just had to cross off one of my topics because that was one of my topics, and you jumped the gun again. But that's okay. I like it. It's efficient. Like Mr. No, never mind. I was gonna feed into your racist. Don't. No. You're what's the word? Your racist illusions of grandeur, because I was not in any way, shape, or form being racist. Although I might have been to feed into it. But anyway, the second time. Anyway, I agree. I think it's dumb. I don't think anybody cared. It's almost like, you know what? Just, you didn't have to give us anything. It's one day. The thing that's really dumb about it, in my opinion, yeah, like rolling the dice, is do you have to punch in a 12-digit code to get that one day? They don't just give it to you. Now on PS4, they did send out a thing. You could just click it and click X and it'll automatically put the code in and do that. But on Vita, on PS3, or wherever else, if you didn't have that, and you got the emails before that came out. So that didn't come out until a few days after the emails came out to everybody. And either way, it's just like, but in general, I don't know why they had to, like, do they not have the ability to just add that one day onto your account? Like, instead of having to send it, because they obviously had to go out and send a code to every fucking user? Could they have not just added the day to every user's account? Like it just seems really fucking weird that you had to do a 12-digit code to do it. But I don't know. Nobody knows how Sony's fucking back end works. It's a fucking disastrous mess, as they've said themselves time after time. That's why we can't change our names, because it was all built on a foundation that did not plan for anything. So that's like the one area that I think Microsoft does better, in the sense that they had all this shit planned and they had their back end all sort of figured out ahead of time. But having said that, like, even though the service is planned and designed better on Xbox, I think it's executed and is a better service on PlayStation. But neither here nor there. So now that we don't have to do that topic, let's cross that out and move on to the next topic. So this is a topic, as a fan of a certain blue hedgehog, as we both are.
You gotta go fast.
And as you see, of course, in the first episode, I had my very expensive Sonic and Supersonic statues out. Yeah, you've got the shirt, which I think you wore last episode as well.
Also, this shirt, if you guys are seeing it, probably not if you're listening to the podcast, but on the video right now, I'm wearing this really awesome Sonic shirt. I don't know if you can get it anymore. It's by Filthy Casual. That's what they go by now. Do not, if you guys are watching this, do not go to Cherry Sauce. Don't go to cherrysauce.com. That's not where they sell these shirts. They sell like really awesome shirts at Filthy Casual. Really nice guys, cool guys, little plug in there. Boop. Yeah. Don't go to cherrysauce.com. I made that mistake, and I was like, guys, I got the shirt at Cherry Sauce. And then people are like, Sean, how did you get that? And I'm like, I don't know. I got it at the convention. They're like, go to cherrysauce.com. I think you need to check it out. And I was like, sure, I don't know. Cherry Sauce. Gotcha. All right. Yep, that's the thing.
CherrySauce.com. Welcome to the industry's favorite agency for properly regulated content and design. Launched in 2003 as the first of its kind, multi-award winner Cherry Media is the most established and recognized erotic lifestyle mobile specialist in the world. Cherry Media represents a globally renowned reputation as the industry leader for mobile erotic entertainment with over a decade of success. It has one of the most unique and commercially proven content portfolio that has been designed and optimized to match strict global on and off deck regulations. This includes content to monetize highly lucrative emerging mobile territories such as India, Africa, and Latin America. Cherry complements this high-performance portfolio with associated business services for all four screens: mobile, tablet, PC, and TV, including M-Sites, video on demand, streaming services, applications, business strategies, and design and marketing. Our services: premium mobile lifestyle services, content, the most specialized glamour and erotic catalog in the world for any screen, multi-award winning, packed with executive feature or exclusive features you won't find anywhere else, and continually outperforming the competition financially. A wide range of commercial models available to suit every budget, and it just goes on like this. Now I figured it was a porn site, but damn, that's a very well thought out mission statement there. I'm impressed. If I ever want to become like the head of an erotic empire, I think I'll go to them. Yeah. But back to the game topic. Chris Carteret over at Destructoid.com writes, surprise! Again, that's two articles. He started with surprise. That classic announcement, hype, was Sega 3D Classics Collection. Now, for those of you who don't know, what was it, 2 days ago now, I guess, or yesterday, there was rumblings. No, not this, but before that. There was rumblings that there was going to be a classic Sonic announcement that was apparently going to be a big deal, be announced today, earlier this morning. Well, it came and went, and it was not a big deal. Remember when Sega said a new announcement was coming today and that classic gaming fans should be very excited? Well, I don't think you're going to be very excited. Sega has confirmed that it is indeed the Sega 3D Classics Collection for 3DS. It's being released in the West on April 26, 2016 for $30 in physical form. It includes 9 classic games: Power Drift, Puyo Puyo 2, Maze Walker, Fantasy Zone 2, The Tears of Opa Opa, Fantasy Zone 2W, Sonic the Hedgehog, Thunderblade, Galaxy Force 2, and Altered Beast. All great games, mind you. As a note, Puyo Puyo 2 and Power Drift were never widely released outside Japan, so there's that. Now, these games I believe are all already available on the eShop. This is just a physical cartridge that packages them together. Now, that's fine, all in and of itself, but what people are upset about is the fact that it was hinted at as being some kind of big announcement for Sonic involving classic Sonic, which of course relates into the fact that this year, 2016, is Sonic's 30th anniversary, and on Sonic's 25th anniversary, we got the very awesome Sonic Generations. There was also rumors earlier this year that there was going to be some sort of anniversary game for Sonic's 30th anniversary this year. So I think that people may have thought that that might have had something to do with it. You look like you have something to chime in here.
I think it's his 25th anniversary. He's not 30. 91.
Right. Mario's 30. I meant 25th. It's fine. Okay, but everything else I said was applicable. Just change 25 to 20, or just change 30 to 25 and 25 to 20. Because Sonic Generations was for his 20th anniversary. This will be for his 25th anniversary. Whatever, it's fine. It's all the same shit, man. You got that look on your face like somebody shitting your cornflakes, and I think your cornflakes are fine, so don't worry about it. Are you going to take those statues away from me because I'm not a Sonic fan anymore? Yes. You can have them if you pay the retail value of them. Which is about, what, like $600, $700, something like that. Anyway. Yeah, so that's that. Now, there could still be a 25th anniversary game coming out, although I think at this point it would be kind of weird. It's kind of weird that they haven't revealed anything yet. And the last I heard, they still had that 3-title exclusive deal with Nintendo for 3 Sonic Boom games, of which the first one came out. The second one was supposed to come out last fall, but got delayed until this year sometime. And then there were 3. But then again, no, there were 3. It was for 3 titles. I think the first one was Sonic Lost World, and then the second one would be Sonic Boom, and so this would be the second Sonic Boom game, I guess, would be the 3rd title, because it doesn't count Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Series. So therefore, an anniversary game could come to all platforms. And frankly, it's about fucking time that we get some Sonic back on PlayStation. So that's fine. It's also disappointing because Sonic, with the start of Sonic 4, which wasn't great, but was the start of like kind of getting good again, and then Sonic Colors, which was awesome, and then Sonic Generations, which was fantastic, and then Sonic Lost World kind of like lost that momentum because it was all right, but it wasn't great. And then, the less said about Sonic Boom, the better. Although I hear the TV show is doing quite well. But I digress. Anyway, so I want to see PlayStation, or I want to see Sonic come back to PlayStation and Xbox, but specifically PlayStation because that's my platform of choice. And I want to get my Sonic trophies on, and I want a 25th anniversary game. But that is not what this is. So you were disappointed by this news too, yes?
Yeah. Where's my Sonic 3D Blast for one? That game was not good. But anyway, I kind of figured once they said like it's coming to. They're like, oh, we got a bunch of games coming in 3DS. And then all those games that I read were, they're on the Nintendo eShop. They were already there. So it was only a matter of time before, boom, let's throw it on a cartridge and make a mega collection out of it because nobody bought it the first time. They should have thrown in Sonic 2. Like, honestly, if more people will play Sonic 2 than Sonic 1, in my opinion, Sonic 2 was the better... Or if it feels more nostalgic to me for Sonic 2, even though I feel like Sonic 3 and Knuckles was the best one. But for the 25th anniversary, I feel like they're going to announce it at either E3 or somewhere along the lines. Because for 25th anniversary, it always comes out like we're going to see definite window of either March of next year, or if Sega's being Sega, they'll push it for the end of the last quarter.
Yeah, and I think that, because that's what happened with Sonic Generations. It did come out the year it was supposed to. It was announced in 2011, early 2011, came out fall of 2011. But that's a good point because if I remember correctly, Sonic Generations was leaked early when it wasn't supposed to be. So they may be saving something for E3 for sure. But I think that's about it to say on that. I don't know. The thing with me is that and maybe it wasn't necessarily, but it kind of felt like it was being sort of worked up as sort of being a Sonic announcement, and then it really had almost nothing to do with Sonic. It was more Sega Classics. But we'll see. This next piece, a little bit better news, comes from Destructoid again. Jordan DeVore at Destructoid writes, "This Fire Emblem new 3DS XL doesn't come with the game." So not great news, but of course new systems are always good. Nintendo is bringing this lovely Fire Emblem Fates themed Nintendo 3DS XL to North America on February 19th, 2016 for $199.99. Now, of course, the system, for those listening, you can go take a look at it, but it basically has a black bottom, a white top, to sort of symbolize the two different sides of Fire Emblem Fates, and it looks good. I don't think it looks, in my opinion, the best looking Fire Emblem system that ever came out was the original 3DS Fire Emblem that came out, that nice blue one. Yeah, for Fire Emblem Awakening. It was great. Fucking disastrous that it didn't come out in an XL form, but anyway. And the next to that, I think the best 3DS, new 3DS XL that I've seen so far, honestly, was the Monster Hunter 4 one. I think that design looked awesome, but I don't care about Monster Hunter that much. I think it's a fine game, but again, Monster Hunter, another series, needs to come back to PlayStation, in my opinion. But a PS4 Monster Hunter, that'd be fucking sweet. I guess we got God Eater and shit like that, but
I mean, with God Eater, yeah, along the way, coming now on, I think it's going to be a PlayStation 4 announcement, because that's already sort of been announced. I don't think we'll ever see Monster Hunter on consoles again, in terms of Sony or Microsoft. Definitely not Microsoft. But in Sony, I don't know what happened since the PSP games, / that one PS3 game that they kind of did in Japan. But I feel like something between Capcom and Sony, like for Monster Hunter, just they did something happened, and now it's not coming.
Yeah, I mean, where's the Vita version, right? But I think maybe that's because the 3DS is just outselling the Vita so much in Japan. Although the Vita is still successful in Japan. Vita is still successful everywhere. Vita is not a failure by any stretch of imagination. It's just not the problem. And I think the Vita is a great system. And the Vita still has plenty of life left in it. And there's still tons of games that come out for it all the damn time. The thing is that Sony marketed it as being, this is like a PS3 or a PS4 in your pocket, and you can play console-style games. And it's like, that's never should have been what the system should have been in the first place. It should be, yeah, exactly, because it wasn't able. It should have been here, and this is what it is. And it's like, if you love awesome indie games, if you love awesome Japanese games and RPGs and shit, this is a system for you, and that's what I love. So it's great for me. But yeah, I don't know. Monster Hunter, I guess, just fits. Though they may have signed exclusive deals with Nintendo, we don't know the shit that goes on behind doors, but. But I would love, if there was a Monster Hunter game on Vita that came west, I'd buy it, and I'd play it. But back to this. So there are multiple versions of the upcoming RPG, Birthright, Conquest, and then a third story, Revelation, as DLC, but none of them are included in this package. Which makes sense to me, because most of the themed 3DS XLs that have come out in North America have not had a game included with them. And if they did, they'd be a lot more expensive than $200. As a reminder, Fire Emblem Fates Birthright and Fire Emblem Fates Conquest are both launching on the same day as this hardware, February 19th, for $40 a piece, $39.99. That was probably $44.99 in Canada. $49.99? Fuck. Yeah. God damn it. See, now that's one thing I like about PlayStation 2 is that a lot of their games that come out digitally are still the US prices, even in Canada, and then you never have to pay tax on the PlayStation Store. And it's shitty that you still have to pay tax and shit on Nintendo Store. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, PlayStation, I don't know. PlayStation is just being cool about it. Yeah, okay, go ahead. What do you have to say about that?
Oh, just very quick note. I've seen recently in some Amazon prices and also some game store prices, specifically one game that's coming out, Knights of Azure, that's coming out. Amazon has it at a price point at $84.99 Canadian price. And I've noticed a couple games that are coming out on PlayStation 4 is priced at $89.99 now. So whatever is our dollar right now, it's not good in Canada.
So games were $59.99 here in 2013. In 2014, they went up to $69.99. In 2015, they went up to $79.99. You're fucking telling me they're going to go up to $89.99 now? That doesn't even make sense, really. Because even before, it wasn't on par with the exchange rate before. $79.99 was more, where they were getting more out of it than they should have from the exchange rate. Fuck off. Yeah. That's at the point where it makes sense to go over the border and buy games in the U.S. at this point. Jared Prime says, rest in peace, my wallet. Also, Re-Res TV earlier, I meant to mention this, but I forgot. When we were talking about Sonic, said Sonic games What did he say exactly? He said, after I played Sonic Boom, everything just felt numb.
Go play Sonic 06 again. That'll revitalize that energy for you.
Sonic 06 is not as bad as everybody says it is. It's not great. It's not good. Yeah. But it gets a bad rap. It's unfair. The amount. It's a bad game. It'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, it's taking a long time to get through this particular story. Revelation is coming a bit later digitally on March 10th, 2016, and there will be a physical bundle for all 3 stories on one game card for $79.99, which the vast majority of people will never see because that was a pre-order that went out like that, and I don't think they'll ever bring it back. It's $100 in Canada, but that makes sense. No, it doesn't. No. Well, no, it does. If the games are $49.99 each, then that makes sense because $100, $99, and then you get the other game for free, which will probably be like $29.99 when it comes out. Yeah, so, whatever, that's fine. Thankfully, though, when you talk about those things going up to $89.99, it doesn't matter because if you pre-ordered those games off of Amazon for the E3 sale last year, like I said, they can only go down. They can't go up. So, anyway, when this E3 sale comes around, if they haven't gone up to $89.99 already, you fucking pre-order every goddamn game you can because you can always cancel them if you don't want them afterwards. When Fire Emblem Fates launches, further downloadable content in the form of new maps will also be released on a regular basis, with the first map launching on February 19th. So day 1 DLC, but not stuff that was taken. I gotta turn that on silent. Not stuff that was taken out of the content that was taken out of the game. Players can choose to buy each of these maps individually or purchase Map Pack 1 for $17.99 to get access to them all at a discount once they are released. Now, I am a huge Fire Emblem fan. I was a Fire Emblem fan way before it was even big in the West because I was super into strategy tactical RPGs. Shining Force, of course, my favorite series, but it's very similar to Fire Emblem. You should. I can lend it to you. Great. I have the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection that's on there. It's great. Then I have it. Shining Force 1 and Shining Force 2, you should fucking play them because they are amazing. I did stream those a little bit on Twitch as well. So there's not much to be said about that other than there's another bundle coming out, or not a bundle, but another system coming out. Looks cool. Yeah. Probably going to be very hard to find. And if you're a big Fire Emblem fan, then I'm sure you already know about this and you want to go get it. If you're not, now you understand about it and have fun, trying to find those games in general. Even individually, I'm sure they'll be difficult to find. And if you're a Fire Emblem, it's both a great time to be a Fire Emblem fan and it's a really shitty time to be a Fire Emblem fan. So
that's the good thing with Fire Emblem is that it's so popular now. But the thing with those games is you have to pick them up within the first 3 months of release, or else you'll never see them again. With Fire Emblem Awakening, when it first came out here in North America, they sold out in moments, and I was like, no, I'll just pick it up. I'll take my time, and it was sold out for almost a month. Before I actually got my hands on it. But so with Birthright and Conquest, they got some really cool deals. North America eShop said that if you pick up either of the 2 games, you can get the second game of your picking. So if you get Birthright, you can get Conquest or either or half off on the Nintendo eShop digitally, of course, which will net you the third game as well, because the third game's free as long as you have both games. So that's really cool. Good on Nintendo's part for that because it was originally all one game in Japan. So I don't know why they did that. Probably marketing, probably money. Doesn't matter. People will buy it no matter what because it is Fire Emblem. And Fire Emblem is one of the best, if not the best strategy RPG on Nintendo platforms.
Second only to Shining Force. Yeah, it is. Still? Well, not currently, but it's available, and I think you can get it on the Wii U eShop, because they're Genesis games originally. So, yeah, no, I agree with that. Certainly. I want to just keep us moving along a little bit here. That was our last piece of Nintendo news for this episode. We have one piece of PC news, Steam news, and then the rest will all be PlayStation until we're done. Steam. We talked about this. You talked about this, actually. And then I reacted to this last week where he said Danganronpa was coming to Steam. But now, over at Destructoid, Chris Carter writes, Danganronpa 2 is coming to PC too, although I really feel he should have said as well. And that's just the start. Although Spike Chunsoft has let the world know that it will be bringing the first Danganronpa game to PC by way of Steam, it's now confirming that Danganronpa 2 will also be coming at some point. This is apparently just the start for the developer's plans for Steam, as it has been stated that it plans on bringing more games to the platform. Of course, the studio wasn't willing to divulge any specifics just yet, but I'm pretty happy about the news. As I've said many times in the past, again, this is Chris speaking, the more avenues for getting games out of Japan and localized, the better. And that pretty much sums up my thoughts on that. In general, which is great. Specifically Danganronpa, as this is now the third episode, and I don't think I've gone an episode without talking about Danganronpa yet. Yeah. Danganronpa is fucking great. It's an amazing series. Everybody should play that series. I only just played it for the first time last year. I really feel, story-wise, character-wise, it is easily in my top 5, maybe in my top 3 favorite game series of all time, story-wise. It's just absolutely so fantastic. You need to play it. Everybody needs to play this. Now, if you don't have a Vita and you don't have PlayStation TV, which I again think that that's where you should play them, but if you've got Steam, this is great. Fucking go out and get them. It doesn't matter how you play it, just play it. But don't watch the anime until you've played the game first. It's the same thing as like the Persona 4 anime. Persona 4 anime is good anime, but it'll completely ruin the fucking game for you. So you're meant to really experience the story in the game first, and then this is like a shortened, sort of stylized version of the game. But you really want to experience it through the game the first time, because there is something about that interactive media, I feel, that really sucks you in and makes you feel a part of the story that watching an anime wouldn't do. Not that I'm shitting on anime, of course, and it has paid my bills in the past. But yeah, no, this game series is absolutely fantastic. Of course, it was the first game that I put into my top 50 that we do, which is sort of taking the series. And in general, I do think the second game is the best game of them all. But yeah, so Danganronpa 2, it sounds like they're going to be bringing other Spike Chunsoft titles over, of which there aren't really that many yet, but Spike Chunsoft has also been publishing games for other people, which is cool. We talked about it last week. I don't remember which game it was specifically, but there was a game that was being brought over to Japan, an indie game being brought over to Japan that Spike Chunsoft was publishing over there. I don't remember what it was, but anyway.
That's really good news for Spike Chunsoft in general. So I've noticed a big trend lately with Nippon Ichi Software is doing the exact same thing, starting to port all over their games. Same with Idea Factory. They're starting to move their games over to Steam. It's a great idea. It's amazing that they're doing it. It's giving a way bigger audience than normal, because a lot of these games are on the Vita. So a lot of like Danganronpa, Hyperdimension Neptunia, Disgaea, all of these games have been on PlayStation platforms for the longest time. And now that they're moving on to PC, it's great, because one, modding for so many of those games. It's amazing. Like, go into no clip mode, check out the sites, check out the areas, not specifically Danganronpa, but it's cool. And like all that support, just so many cool things that you can do on Steam now. It's great. And then just like they said, there's more to come for Spike Chunsoft, and that's great. So if there's that's going to give hopefully more localization teams, more people, developers, a chance to kind of bring over their games to Steam, bring over their games to PlayStation, and it just opens up so many more doors than just making it console exclusive. And I am the type of person that's like, it has to be console exclusive forever. If Disgaea is a PlayStation exclusive, you have to make it a PlayStation exclusive till the very end, no matter what. And I was really chapped when Final Fantasy VII was like, oh, yep, we're going over to Xbox One now, great.
Final Fantasy VII Remake has never once been confirmed for Xbox One. It's always said it's coming first to PlayStation 4. It's never said for sure that it was coming to Xbox One. In fact, the only thing that's ever been mentioned about Xbox One was that it's coming for sure first to PlayStation, and after the PlayStation 4 comes out, they will look at other platforms to bring it to, and that's all that's ever been said. It's never been officially stated that it's coming to Xbox.
Well, it was the same thing just for like the longest time. Same with like Kingdom Hearts 3. Same with Final Fantasy 15. Like, it was just kind of an expected thing. So it was a big change for me when they were moving over to both platforms. Not that I'm mad now, like I've gotten over it obviously, but like the fanboy inside me was crying.
Although, can I just say Kingdom Hearts 3 being on Xbox makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I mean, Final Fantasy 15, fine, because Final Fantasy 13 did whatever. Although, never mind. But Kingdom Hearts, So it's weird. Kingdom Hearts 3 going to Xbox One. Kingdom Hearts HD Remix, PlayStation exclusive. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 Remix, PlayStation exclusive. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Remix, PlayStation 4 exclusive. All the games leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3 not available on Xbox. Kingdom Hearts 3 on Xbox? What the fuck? That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
I feel like maybe there's a license thing. So possibly the license might run out for Kingdom Hearts. Maybe. I doubt it, but it could be a license issue where they're like, hey, like, we're going to kill some time until the license runs out for Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2, but I doubt that's the cause because I'm pretty sure Sony would buy that like in a heartbeat because they don't want to give that IP up. But it's up to Square.
Well, interestingly, Kingdom Hearts games cannot be distributed digitally. Maybe Kingdom Hearts 3 can, but all the old ones can't because of a license agreement with Utada, the singer who does all the themes for it. They don't have digital distribution rights to those themes, so they can't distribute them digitally, which is interesting. That's why they can only their Kingdom Hearts remixes did not come out as digital games. Birth by Sleep didn't come out digitally on PSP. I don't see how that would have really much to do with Xbox, but maybe that's the case. Maybe there is like, you know, it might have to do with that, right? Because these games, maybe there's a licensing deal that it can only come out on a PlayStation home console, right? So it can't be whatever, I don't know, or digital rights, who knows? But I just think it's weird. I don't think Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to sell well on Xbox One at all. I think it's going to sell 95% or more on PlayStation, like as an overall thing of it. Just because Kingdom Hearts is a PlayStation series, any way you look at it. In the mind share of people, it's a PlayStation series. Final Fantasy still sold like way better on Final Fantasy 13, all the games sold way better on PlayStation than they did on Xbox, but at least made sense. You didn't have to have any prior knowledge jumping into it. Now, Kingdom Hearts is the polar opposite of Final Fantasy in the sense that you can walk into any Final Fantasy without having played the previous ones. You can't fucking walk into any Kingdom Hearts game without having played the previous ones. It won't make any fucking sense. Even if you have played through all of them, it hardly makes any fucking sense. So, you know, you really have to play through these games several times and sort of analyze all the aspects and pieces of it. It's more convoluted than the fucking Metal Gear Solid storyline, really, or at least on the same level of it. So, I don't know. But that's another thing, too, right? All the Metal Gear games available on Xbox, except for Metal Gear Solid 4, still PlayStation exclusive. It's these weird little anomalies here and there. But
my little bit on that is we have a world supply of Let's Players now. We have a world supply of game theorists on YouTube. So even if you own an Xbox, there's people out there that are like, oh, I'm so going to buy Kingdom Hearts 2 even if I have an Xbox One. Like, they could go on YouTube. They could literally be like, give me the Kingdom Hearts timeline in 12 minutes, or give me like everything about it. They could read a synopsis online. They could just easily do that and still pick up Kingdom Hearts 3. They're just as able to pick it up, but it does make sense to keep it a PlayStation platform. But again, it's just money at the end of the day. So
yeah, I'm just telling you my prediction is that it's not going to sell well on Xbox at all. Kingdom Hearts 3 not like I don't even think it's going to crack 5% of the share between that game on systems.
Maybe.
Well, it might crack 5, it's not going to crack 10.
Close.
We'll see. Jared Prime says Danganronpa series is in my top 3. Whoa, dude. Guess I should look into it. Yes, you should, Jared Prime, and all of you should, because I can't say that enough. So there are 5 pieces of PlayStation-related news next. 3 of them are all just pieces about new games that are coming out. They're all indie games. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rapid-fire these 3 articles one after another, and we'll discuss them all together, okay? These are all from the PlayStation blog, the US PlayStation blog. Mark Morris writes, Prison Architect coming to PS4 this spring. Hi everyone, my name is Mark Morris, and I helped found Introversion Software back in 2001. We've made a few games in our time, however, I'm delighted to say that our biggest accomplishment to date, Prison Architect, is coming to PS4 through a collaboration with the good people at Double 11. Prison Architect allows you to act as both architect and governor. You control every detail of your prison, from building new cells and facilities to hiring staff and creating reform programs, all while dealing with informants, contraband smuggling, gang warfare, full-scale riots, and a lot more. The idea came from a holiday in Alcatraz. My pal, Chris DeLay, went on a tour of the infamous prison, and when looking at the mechanisms and intricate systems in place, he was inspired, and so Prison Architect was born. Public opinion is divided as to whether prisons are too harsh or not harsh enough, so we wanted to create a game where you could touch on that and explore it for yourself. The idea was to create a game where players had a chance to experience the simulated prison management system and leave every decision, big and small, to the player. It goes on. Now it's on to you to decide whether you build and manage a prison that offers rehabilitation and peaceful coexistence, or if you'd rather impose international harshness and strip away any notions of well-being and freedom. Be prepared to deal with the consequences. Once your prison is built, go online with the World of Wardens to share your designs with the community. You can also browse and play other Architects' prisons from around the world. We're planning to release Prison Architect on PS4 this spring. Now, we're going to go through all these, but this, of course, sounds very similar to a game that came out not too long ago on PS4 and even longer ago on PC, which was The Escapists. And this is also relevant. All three of these games are all PlayStation indies. They all have retro-inspired art to them. So that's Prison Architect. Following along, The Escapists, which came out, this one comes from Grant Towell on the PlayStation blog. The Escapists, The Walking Dead, coming to PS4 on February 16th. Hello, PlayStation blog readers. We hope everyone had a great holiday. Here at Team 17, we've got a lot of exciting games coming to PS4 in 2016. The first of which I'm here to tell you about today is the awesome The Escapists, The Walking Dead. Yes, that's right. We've taken our breakout hit, The Escapists, and merged it with the well-loved universe that is Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead comic series. We've taken the very best of both worlds and lovingly recreated comic panels, dialogue, and the story of the award-winning comic series within the charming 8-bit style of The Escapists. Starting the game, you'll take on the role of iconic protagonist Rick Grimes as he wakes up in the Harrison Memorial Hospital. The first tutorial level matches that very first issue of the Walking Dead comic and sees Rick encounter his first walkers in the hospital. The levels will then follow the timeline of the comic, seeing Rick travel to various locations such as the Green Family Farm, Meriwether Correctional Facility, Woodbury, and Alexandria. Spoilers for anybody who's not caught up on the show or comics or whatever. In fact, our game spans right up to around issue 83 of the comic, which is more or less where the TV show is currently. I haven't read the comics, but I know of the comics, and I know kind of where they are in relation to the TV show. The TV show I like a lot, although I didn't for like a couple in the middle seasons. Then it got great again. Anyway, you'll get to meet other familiar characters from the hit series along the way, including Carl, Lori, Glenn, Herschel, Maggie, Dale, Tyrese, Michonne, Abraham, and Gabriel. As Rick, you must take care of your survivors by performing head counts and cleaning up the compound to avoid getting overrun with walkers. Fans of The Escapists will be glad to know crafting is still a big part of the game. Choosing from over 250 materials, you'll be able to craft more than 70 different items to keep your survivors safe, including tools like cutters and shovels, and weapons such as the modified pistol and rifle. We've absolutely loved teaming up with Skybound Entertainment on this, and we can't wait to see you on the leaderboards when The Escapists, The Walking Dead launches for PS4 on February 16th. Yeah. And then the last one. This is one out of these three that I'm personally most excited for. And if the price is right, I may just pick up.
Spin that wheel.
Of course, last week, Crypt the NecroDancer. Very excited about that. Still think it's going to be a PlayStation Plus exclusive, and we will find out. We will probably answer that question on next week's podcast, because by the time we record that, we will almost certainly have our PlayStation Plus for February game titles. Which will probably be a big emphasis of next week's episode. But over on the PlayStation blog, Alex Poisky writes, Open World Pirate Sim Pixel Piracy, coming to PS4. Just like the game itself, the life of Pixel Piracy has been a wonderful adventure that constantly surprises. Welcome aboard, you scallywag. Should I read this like a pirate? We're thrilled to bring... No, fuck it. We're thrilled to bring... We're thrilled to bring Pixel Piracy to PS4 alongside 505 Games and Relogic. Abstraction Games has done an awesome job bringing our PC indie hit to console, and we are grateful to have them all as part of our pirate crew. I actually wanted to get into games because I saw that Andrew Spinks had been in the military and had changed his life to pursue his dreams. Likewise, I was stuck in the army on the Jordanian-Iraq border, getting mortared daily, and thought there was more to life than that. Andrew really inspired me to grab me dreams, turn me life around and make 'em happen. It's funny how things turn out, because Real Logic published the game when we were ready to launch on PC, so my dreams came utterly true. Anyway. The great thing for console players is that they get all the major PC update content already, baked into the launch version. We've partnered with 505 Games on the PS4 launch. That was stretching. The team has done a great job with abstraction to make improvements to the UI and to make sure the console controls are nailed, and given it all the all-around piratey polish it needed to bring it to the masses. If you like pirates, this is the game for you. If you like the sound of recruiting a motley crew and sailing the 7 seas in search of booty, other pirate crews to kill, chasing chickens, building your ship block by block, cleaning the poop deck, boarding enemy ships, then jump on board, matey. It also has this wonderful pixel look. The title gives that away, but don't be fooled. This is a really deep layered RPG simulation that rewards time spent in exploration. Our pirate dudes are only a few pixels high, but they are cheeky and deadly in equal measure. Let us know what you think, or otherwise walk the plank. Anyway. How would you rate that pirate voice? 6 out of 10? Oh.
One hook out of
Ye scallywag.
7.
It's brought by the same, not made by the same people, but brought to you by the same people who did Terraria, which is one of my favorite games on the PS3. And this game looks a lot like Terraria. I'm very interested in this game. But anyway, so those 3 games, we had, I remember the games, Prison Architect, The Escapist, The Walking Dead, and Pixel Piracy. All 3 games coming soon to PlayStation 4. All indie games, all pixel games. Your thoughts?
505 Games, I'm just doing a little research because I'm pretty sure I've heard of them. 505 Games brought over Payday 2 back in 2013, Sniper Elite 3 back in 2014, and classic hits such as Brothers. Do you remember that game? Do you remember Brothers?
I do.
Do you remember? Do you remember the Brothers? That's a terrible voice. I don't know if people saw on the stream. I was doing a really good pirate impression. But also 505 Games is also doing, they're publishing Indivisible, which I'll touch up on that on another day. But anyway, that's really good that they're bringing over that. It sounds like the best one out of the 3 in my opinion. The Escapist sounds really good too. Walking Dead's really good. I only got up to like season 3. I should probably catch up. Because, yeah, Walking Dead's pretty good.
I'll just say that I watched the show up till the end of season 3. I watched the first half of season 4, and I got really kind of turned off from the show during that whole prison part. Kind of drug on for a while, and then I went like 2 years without having watched it, and then I just finally, because of course they do like a half season every, I finally caught up with it last year after my ex-fiance and I broke up, and I had like all this time to sort of catch up on all these things that I wanted to do. So I went back to that show, and it was great. It just got so much better. And then I love that show again. So if you petered out around season 3, which apparently a lot of people did, I really implore you to pick it back up, try it again, because it really does get a lot better.
Then it might have been at season 4 then if it was the prison. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's been a really long time since I watched Walking Dead, but I remember getting good.
No, season 3 was the prison. It was season 4 where they left the prison. It was 3 up till the end of the season, or maybe even it was like the first half of season 4. At the end of season 4 was when they left the prison.
Like with the governor, right?
Yeah.
Then I got there.
And then the second half of season 4 was them actually leaving that and moving on.
Okay, I got up to the governor. And then like with the heads and stuff. So I got up to that part. And then I was like, wow, this is really good. And then they like, some characters obviously died and stuff, spoiler. But yeah, it's, I don't know, to me I was like, yeah, I'm pretty good stopping where I am now. But yeah.
Lori is a real annoying bitch during that season. So.
Yeah. I mean, Lori, yeah. That Lori, right? It's been 2 years. I've forgotten half the cast.
I'm sorry, not Lori. Lori was Rick's wife. She died. Spoilers, but that happened a long time ago. I meant Andrea. Andrea was a bitch in season 3.
Yeah.
Blonde hair that was like with the governor. Fuck that bitch.
Yes. Now I remember. She's like, oh no, the governor's not a bad guy. And then you get like near the end of the season, she's like, oh no, the governor was a bad guy. Oh, I was wrong. It's like, yeah, you were actually. But yeah, super stoked for some of those games actually. But going back to Crypt and NecroDancer, I don't think it's going to be free on PlayStation Plus next month.
You don't? Okay, that's interesting. You don't think? Now, let's recap here. For those who don't know, last week, episode 2, I predicted 2 things, in fact. I don't remember what the second prediction was. I predicted 2 games are going to be on the PlayStation Plus soon. I said Crypt and NecroDancer, my prediction is that it is going to be free on PlayStation Plus. And why do you think? And here's the reason why. 1, it was announced with no price. 2, it was announced the release date is the day that the new PlayStation Plus games go live for February. And 3, they said there was a big surprise about the game that they weren't willing to announce yet. And I'm pretty sure that big surprise is that, hey, everybody gets it free on PlayStation Plus. Now, backing that up, there have been numerous indie games that have launched as a PlayStation Plus, have launched for free on PlayStation Plus. Rocket League being the biggest of all of those, but many games have done that. Outlast originally launched on PS4 as a PlayStation Plus game. Don't Starve launched on PS4 as a PlayStation Plus game. There's been tons of them. Another big one recently that people were Super Time Force Ultra launched on PS4 as a PlayStation Plus title. So I don't see Crypt and NecroDancer launching as PS4 or as PlayStation Plus title being anywhere outside the realm of possibility. In fact, I say it's right square within the realm of probability for the reasons that I mentioned. But why do you think it won't?
Just my small reasonings of like it's a new launch title, but yeah, that's a lot of stuff backing it up, so I'm probably wrong then. But what I think is just it's gonna be like, oh well, it's coming out and it's gonna be discounted, but you have a lot more backing up than I do at that point with all those points there. I do keep forgetting that a lot of indie games are being launched free as PlayStation Plus. I did forget about Outlast, Super Time Force Ultra, all those games there. And Grow Home was another one, which was one of my picks as well for you need to play it. It's really good. But yeah, I guess that makes more sense since they're not announcing a price. But I still want to say maybe they'll do like it'll be $5 PlayStation Plus.
Do you want to make a level 38 bet on this?
I don't know what that implies.
Well, it doesn't have to be money, but I mean, we could. I don't know. Do you want to come up with the terms? Do you want to come up with the terms of bet? We'll say you think it's not going to come out. I think it's going to come out. So if it does come out, you have to do something, and if it doesn't come out, I have to do something on the podcast that comes out after that. Are you willing to look at those possibilities?
I mean, as long as it's in the realm of possibility and not in like anything that implies anything.
If I'm right, you have to sing a song on the podcast of my choosing. If I'm wrong, I have to sing a song of your choosing on the podcast at the end of the episode. Are you willing to take those terms?
Not liking the idea of singing, but I mean, maybe, sure, I guess. Yeah, as long as it's not like a dumb song. Sure. Nothing racist.
No. It'll be fun. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, we got it. Let's shake on it on the video podcast. You're all seeing this. That's a bet. We got ourselves a bet. Now we're going to have people tuning in for this now. See, because I'm going to fucking win that bet. I'm telling you right now. And if I don't win the bet, I think I'm a lot more confident about going through with it than you are. So, we'll see.
All right.
Because I do sometimes sing on twitch.tv/WillJWood. I don't sing great. Little plug. Yeah, just putting them in there. Yeah. It's like darts.
Right in the camera.
Start putting your plugs in, man. You got to get shit to plug.
I got nothing to plug.
Oh, you'll get there. Cool. So we have a bet. Now, we have 2 topics left. I have a specific way I want to do these. These are both PlayStation topics, and they sort of lead into each other. You ready? Yeah. Here we go. And then we'll do our top 50 picks. These are both at the PlayStation blog, US PlayStation blog. Justin Massengill, PlayStation Stores, top downloads of 2015. Hello, friends, and welcome back. You might have noticed that we're publishing the top downloads list for December a bit later than we usually do, but we hope you'll agree that it's for good reason. We took the liberty of tracking down the charts for the whole year. You'll find the top downloads for all of 2015 just under this intro, with the December 15 charts laid out below that for good measure. Now, I'm going to read the December charts first, and then we'll go for the top. Now, these, of course, are digital downloads only on PS4, PS3, and PS Vita. I'm not going to bother reading the add-ons and the DLC and shit. I just care about the games themselves. We're going to start with December. The top downloads for December 2015 on PS4 are, in order: number 1, Star Wars Battlefront. Number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Number 3, Final Fantasy 7. That's the PC port that we mentioned earlier. Number 4, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 5, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Number 6, Need for Speed. That's the 2015 edition. Number 7, Minecraft PlayStation 4 edition. Number 8, Rocket League. Number 9, Little Big Planet 3. Surprising. Number 10, Madden NFL 16. Number 11, Fallout 4. Pretty low on the list. Number 12, Just Cause 3. Number 13, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Again, low on the list. Number 14, Dragon Ball. This is just for the month of December, mind you. Number 14, Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Surprising. Number 15, Destiny. Number 16, yes, that's right. These do, you have to take into account sales and promotions and stuff. Number 15, Destiny. Number 16, NBA 2K16. Number 17, The Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited. Number 18, Monopoly Plus, for some reason. Number 19, Wolfenstein The New Order. And number 20, Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. Do you want to talk about each list individually?
I mean, like, having them both at the same time would be good. These are just best-selling, right?
Top downloads.
Yeah, the best, like, top downloads. I can see Xenoverse being in that list just because, like, it was on sale for a while. It was only like $10. So that's really good. It's a really good deal for that. Or was it like 15? 15? No, it was 18. It was $18 for a while, which was really good for PlayStation Plus members. But yeah, having I can see The Witcher being low for downloads just because it's a really high gigabyte count, and that can fill up your PlayStation really, really, really quickly. Same with like any of the bigger games, they're gonna fill up your PlayStation super quick.
But as a caveat to that, and I've had this argument with people many times that don't seem to realize. Now, on PS3, sure, great argument. Buy physical, save the space on the hard drive. But on PS4, and it still boggles my mind that many people don't seem to realize this, every single disc game needs to be entirely installed on the hard drive. So you still have to fill that same space either way. However, it is a hell of a lot easier to delete and install the data than to have to download it every time. So there is that. But at the same time, if you've got a large hard drive or whatever, anyway, you're going to fill that space one way or the other. So it's not quite as relevant as an argument, but there is the PS4 installs data really fast. You can install a 45 gigabyte game in like 10 minutes. It's, even with the fastest internet in the world, it's going to take you at least an hour or two to download a 45 gigabyte game. Well, not the best internet in the world, but the average stuff. I have 30 megabit per second download, so I can download a 45 gigabyte game in, like, I don't know, an hour or two. But for some people, that's days and days and days. So
yeah. My argument with that is plugging in a CD and having it install is easy enough. But what happens if you have a low bandwidth? What happens if you have slow internet connection speed? What happens if, like, there are some people out there that still don't have internet and or are not connected to the internet and can only play single player games. So having those physical medias are a lot easier to delete and reinstall than having to download them constantly.
right. So your argument to me was exactly what I just said.
Bandwidth wise.
Yeah, but still, okay. All right. I feel you. It's not where my heart is, but it doesn't matter. You get. I'm a Time Lord. Got the two hearts there. I suspect you don't know anything about Doctor Who either.
Star Wars.
Yes. PS3 games, top 20 list. Number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Number 2, Minecraft PS3 edition. Number 3, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 4, The Last of Us. Number 5, Yakuza 5. Now that's interesting that The Last of Us shows up on the PS3 list but does not show up on the PS4 list. I know The Last of Us is more of a PS3 game, but PS4 version, definitely the definitive version of that game. Just interesting in general. But then again, there are a lot more PS3s in the wild than there are PS4s in the wild at this point, although that's going to change in the next couple of years. I definitely think the PS4 will for sure outsell PS3, but if you don't think that, you probably don't know anything about how the PS4 is selling. So Anyway, number 5, Yakuza 5. Ha! Number 5, Yakuza 5. Number 6, Little Big Planet 3. Number 7, Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Number 8, Minecraft Story Mode, Episode 1, The Order of the Stone, which I still have yet to play. Number 9, Battlefield 4. Number 10, EA Sports FIFA 16. Number 11, Destiny the Taken King. Number 12, Monopoly Plus. Again, what the fuck? Number 13, Madden NFL 16. Number 14, Goat Simulator. Number 15, Battlefield Hardline, which I started playing through the campaign of recently on the Twitch channel, and it's pretty good. Yes. It's interesting because Battlefield Hardline is like basically a single player game, with like less emphasis on online. But anyway, number 16, Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare. Number 17, Gran Turismo 6. Number 18, The Last of Us Left Behind standalone. So I knew that was available as a standalone game. When I was streaming it last week on Saturday, I told you I was going to be streaming Left Behind on the PS4 version, and I did. Yeah. And I kept asking my chat, that's not a plug. I kept asking my chat, like, this thing came out as standalone, but nobody could answer me, but I knew it did. Yeah. Did it come out as standalone on PS4 as well, or just PS3?
It came with remastered, but you can buy it as a standalone.
You can buy it as a standalone on PS4. Okay. It's really good. I don't think it's better than the main game as a whole, but I think it's probably as good, if not maybe better, than any one individual segment of the main game. It's really, really good. It's endearing as fucking shit. Which shit doesn't sound that endearing, but
the Left Behind DLC is sort of essential because at the same time it kind of fills some plot gaps to the main game. So
yeah, it does, and that surprised me because I thought, I can play this, no spoilers, because it takes place before The Last of Us, which it does, sort of. But it also it jumps around in the timeline. So very good though, very good. Anyway, number 19, Pro Evolution Soccer 2016. Number 20, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls Ultimate Evil Edition. And on PlayStation Vita, they only do the top 10. Number 1, Bastion. Big deal when that came out on Vita for a lot of people. Number 2, Minecraft PlayStation Vita Edition. Number 3, Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 2. Number 4, Orishika Tainted Bloodlines. Number 5, Nuclear Throne. Number 6, Tales of Hearts R. Number 7, Sword Art Online Hollow Fragment. I do like that Tales of Hearts R. I think it's one of the better Tales games. Doesn't have English voice acting, but you can turn it off. So I turned off the Japanese dub, or the Japanese voice acting in general, and to me it was very endearing because it felt like one of those old games, like before they had voice acting. You gotta, like, you come up with you bring life to the characters in your own head as you read them and that kind of stuff. It's very, very cool. Yes.
Nani?
I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
What in Japanese?
I don't know.
Because
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's because I was saying what in Japanese because you turned off the Japanese voices. So I was trying to make a play on words.
Number 8, The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel. Number 9, Taco Master, which of course we have Greg Miller from Kind of Funny Games to thank for that. If you don't know what that means, that's fine. Basically, Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty from old IGN people, they started the Kind of Funny. Greg Miller has been plugging fucking Taco Master all over the goddamn place. Great. On Vita. Tried to get it to chart, did get it to chart. Congratulations, Greg. If you ever watch this podcast, which I don't know if you ever will or not, congratulations. I bought Taco Master for $3. Because it's only $3 and it has a fucking platinum trophy in it. You make tacos. It's a stupid little game, but it's fun. It's a time waster. $3. It's not a big deal. I don't know if I'll ever earn the platinum on it because holy shit, does it ever burn your fucking fingers on the touchscreen. Anyway, but way to go, Greg. Number 10, Duke Nukem 3D Megaton Edition. Now, there's also the PS Classics, which I'll read as well. Number 1, Grand Theft Auto. So, of course, PS Classics does the PS1 Classics as well as the PS2 Classics on PS3 and the new PS2 Classics on PS4 as well. Number 1, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which was on sale just last week, but not applicable to this particular one. Number 2, Dark Cloud. Number 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Number 4, Rogue Galaxy. Number 5, Twisted Metal Black. Number 6, War of the Monsters. Number 7, Parappa the Rapper 2. Number 8, Grand Theft Auto 3. Number 9, Suikoden 2. Number 10, The Misadventures of Tron Bone. Now, Tron Bone, whatever. Isn't it supposed to be like a trombone, but it's spelled Tron? No? Okay, whatever. Not much to say about that other than I want to go back to the Vita games really quickly because why the fuck are none of the Danganronpa games on the PS Vita top selling for December. I don't know. If I ever get, I don't think we ever will, but if we ever get to that level of like kind of funny, we're going to fucking get Danganronpa on all these charting lists. But it's okay because that was only for the month of December. Now, Danganronpa could easily chart. Any of the games could easily chart for the top 2015 games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Anything to say about the PS Classics?
Yeah, there's so many good deals or good games on that list there. Dark Cloud especially being a game that came out, in the beginning of last month? It came out, yeah, it's really good. Tron Bonds Classic, kind of that little sequel, prequel, quintessential necessary thing if you ever want to play Mega Man Legends, which is also on the PlayStation Network now. I'm surprised that wasn't on there. Every other game sounds really good. Back to that other list, so many EA titles. Like, there was a lot of EA games on there, which clearly they're pushing digital a lot. I think that's what EA probably wants to do going forward because they have that thing on Xbox, which we may talk about one day. EA Access, yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, a lot of really good titles on there. I'm surprised Danganronpa is not on there because there was a sale at one point, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be huge once that Golden Week sale comes on, and that's just going to whoosh sell so much. But the thing with the Vita is that, like, as much as people want it, like, you need such a big memory card and the capacity. Otherwise, it's just such a hassle. They need to make third-party memory cards to make things easier for people. But other than that, the list was really good.
Of course, you can always just play Danganronpa on Steam now when it comes out as well. Sure. Just play the fucking game. People, seriously, if there's one thing I do, Jared Prime, just play the game. Just play the series. I know you're friends with Sean in real life. And
real life?
Not real life?
Like this is real life?
Yes, like IRL. Like, do you know him in person?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
This is fantasy? Caught in a landslide?
No escape from reality.
There you go.
Of course I know the song. You couldn't be friends with me if I didn't.
Oh.
Now let's go to the top downloads for 2015. On PS4, I'm going to do PlayStation Vita last. On PS4, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, number 1. Number 2, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 3, Minecraft PlayStation 4 Edition. Number 4, Star Wars Battlefront. Number 5, Fallout 4. Number 6, Destiny. Number 7, The Witcher Wild Hunt. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Number 8, Mortal Kombat X. Well, guess I was proven wrong that nobody cares about Mortal Kombat X. It fucking charted in the top 10 for the year. Because nobody could find it physically. Number 9, The Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited. Number 10, Bloodborne. Number 11, Dying Light. Surprising. Now, I played, this is another little plug to the channel, because I played Dying Light. I played like 6-7 hours of it. And you just keep throwing them darts. You can if you go to twitch.tv/WillJWood, you check my highlights, you can see exactly what I thought about Dying Light, because I just fucking ranted and whatnot, and just, I didn't like it. Number 12, EA Sports FIFA 16. Number 13, Battlefield Hardline. Number 14, Madden NFL 16. Number 15, Rocket League. Number 16, Battlefield 4. Number 17, Batman Arkham Knight. Number 18, Dragon Ball Xenoverse. So, that's interesting, because not only did Xenoverse make it, not only did it chart in the top 20 for December, when it had some sales, but it charted in the top 20 for the entire fucking year, which is pretty interesting. Number 19, Resident Evil, the remake. Number 20, Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, barely making it on to the top 20. I know that, of course, doesn't count for physical sales, but still interesting. PS3 games. Number 1, Minecraft PS3 Edition. So again, always the top for PS3, makes sense. Number 2, doesn't do as well on PS4, but number 2, but again, more PS3s in the wild than PS4s in the wild. Number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Number 3, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 4, Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection. This is basically Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Number 5, Destiny. Number 6, Resident Evil, the remake. Number 7, Battlefield 4. Number 8, Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Even more surprising, charts in the top 10 Xenoverse does for PS3 games, because I didn't think anybody even cared about the PS3 version. Number 9, The Last of Us. Number 10, Mortal Kombat. Number 11, Batman Arkham Origins. Number 12, Terraria, which I mentioned earlier in the show. Number 13, Resident Evil 4. Number 14, Mass Effect Trilogy. Great series. Really don't understand why they aren't doing a PS4 remaster of it. Number 15, Pac-Man Championship Edition DX Plus. Number 16, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Number 17, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Number 18, Okami HD. Great title to be on the list. Surprising title to be on the list, but great title to be on the list. Number 19, Gran Turismo 6. And number 20, Castle Crashers. Top PS classics for the year of 2015. Number 1, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, just like for December. Number 2, Mega Man X4. Number 3, Mega Man X5. Number 4, Final Fantasy 7. Number 5, Breath of Fire 4. Number 6, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Number 7, Katamari Damacy. Number 8, Twisted Metal Black. Number 9, Suikoden 2. Number 10, Final Fantasy 9. Interesting. Your thoughts on those lists before we do the PS Vitas?
Excuse me. Yeah, they're all really good so far. You mentioned so many games there. I'm not surprised Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse is still up there. Just probably so many sales, so many deals. Same thing with all those EA games. They constantly go on sale. Battlefront's also an EA game that you mentioned that you kind of forgot there.
I don't think that Xenoverse has been on sale that often throughout the year. Just really at the end of the year.
That's probably what sparked it, though. Also, when the game first came out, to me, you couldn't find it in a couple game stores. Working at one myself, like, you couldn't find Xenoverse anywhere on the shelf for either PS3 or PS4 in stores. Same thing with like when Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, the big thing for that was the Day 1 edition. There weren't too many Day 1 editions for the PS4 and PS3 because it sold so well. It didn't sell that well compared to the other consoles on Xbox One and 360. So maybe they wanted that Day 1 content. I know a lot of people were looking for it, even though it's stupid. Yeah, that was the big thing for me. Same thing with like Star Wars Battlefront. They wanted that Star Wars hype to get in on there. But Minecraft, always going to be number one. It's huge. You're never going to see Minecraft 2 anywhere else unless Microsoft decides to share that IP, which I doubt they will. But you never know. But that whole list like makes sense completely, and it deserves it what it did. But yeah, let's kind of I'm curious about that Vita list.
Yeah, me too. Let's see what happens. Is there gonna be any Danganronpa on that? Speaking of Danganronpa, it's not really plugged to me. Jared Prime says maybe Danganronpa will be an excuse to play my Vita again. Yes, not fucking maybe. Fucking do it. If you have a fucking Vita, where were you? Was he here? Was it episode 2? Or was it in our first episode where there was all the? I think it was episode 2, wasn't it? Last week where there was all all the sales and Danganronpa was on there. Yeah, you should have bought it then. I would lend it to you if I had it physically, but I don't. Because that's a game that you can't fucking find physically anywhere. But still, buy that game, play it seriously. Jared Prime, if you buy Danganronpa and you play Danganronpa, I want you to specifically talk to me about what you think about it. I want to put that. I will put his review and his thoughts on it in the podcast. And then Jiggly's Rufflestein says, "Woo Danganronpa." So there's some Danganronpa fans out there.
It's a big game,
and it just keeps getting bigger. Mm-hmm. It's like how Persona was in the West for a long time until Persona 3, but especially Persona 4, and then it fucking just took off like fucking wildfire to the point now where Persona 5 is most likely going to be released simultaneously worldwide. It's maybe even bigger in the West now than it is in Japan. It's like ridiculous. Danganronpa is, that exact same thing. So that's good. Love to see that kind of stuff. Here we go. Top 10 PS Vita downloads for 2015. Number 1. Oh, by the way, you haven't seen the list yet. Now, your prediction, do any of the Danganronpa games chart in 2015?
One of them has to be. Because, like, one, there's not too many good JRPGs or RPGs or visual novel games on the Vita that are good. There are many, don't get me wrong, but it's just some that, like, will stick. I think Danganronpa might be on there. It should be on there. I want to say Hyperdimension Neptunia is going to be on there as well. Hopefully Senran Kagura is going to be on there. If not, I'll be really disappointed because that game's great as well, story-wise. What other games? Trails Cold Steel should be on there as well. Yeah, it's the only one I can really think of.
Number 1, Sword Art Online Hollow Fragment. Number 2, Minecraft PlayStation Vita Edition. Number 3, Gravity Rush. Number 4, Freedom Wars. Number 5, Soul Sacrifice Delta. Number 6, Persona 4 Golden. Not Persona 4 Gordon, which, of course, was our special game last week. Number 7, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z. Number 8, Little Big Planet PS Vita. Number 9, Mortal Kombat PS Vita. Number 10, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. No Danganronpa. No Hyperdimension. No Trails of Cold Steel. No fucking anything. Now, don't get me wrong. Persona 4 Golden, yes. Should have charted much higher than number 6, in my opinion. Gravity Rush, absolutely. Although, Gravity Rush coming to PS4 and, like, imminently. And we'll be playing that on twitch.tv/WillJWood. Freedom Wars, great game. PlayStation Vita exclusive. PlayStation exclusive. Like, it's a first-party PlayStation title. Which, again, Persona, not first-party PlayStation, but for all intents and purposes may as well be. Disappointing list, I think. But that's that. So, any closing thoughts on this before we move to the last topic in the newer top 50?
Yeah, that was really poor for the list. I hope that was only North America because that's terrible. JRPGs need to be on there. They need to have that, like, that standing, like, that represent for the Vita. Like, all these North American games, sure, great games, but there's a lot of JRPGs out there that really need that attention, and that's the biggest selling point for the Vita is the JRPGs. That's the biggest thing about it. Like, nobody wants to play Call of Duty or Mortal Kombat on it. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom wasn't even on there, and that's a PlayStation Vita game, and that should have beat Mortal Kombat because Marvel vs. Capcom is way better than Mortal Kombat.
Gotta be honest, I didn't even know there was a Mortal Kombat game on PlayStation Vita. That was surprising to me.
There's a couple, like Blaze Blue's also on there. It should have been on that list as well because it beats Mortal Kombat in terms of fighting games. Street Fighter Cross Tekken was a PlayStation Vita game. There's so many games that should have been on that list, but again, this is probably North American sales and people picking up a PlayStation Vita. Like, who knows? Probably games that are like, oh no, like this game's on sale, or oh no, this is the only game that's available to me. Like, that's probably what it was. I'm just glad there was no, like, I don't know, for PlayStation Vita games, I'm kind of glad there was no, like, mention of, like, a PS1 download in there, thankfully. But it is Vita games.
Yeah, that would have come on the PS Classics chart, which would be across all 3 systems. But, yeah, no, I agree. However, there's still all those great Vita games out there. So it's nice to see that even some of these other games are finding homes on PlayStation Vita as well. Maybe in a perfect world, those games didn't chart because everybody already has those games for PlayStation Vita. So they're, seeing what else they got out there. But Persona 4 Gordon, definitely got to have that shit going on. Game of the year. Now, what about Persona 5 Gordon, though? We'll see. Now, if Persona 5 comes out and there's a character named Gordon. Yeah, there is a cat right there. You have anything to say?
Oh, what are you doing? Perfect.
Yeah, it's a pretty good indication that she doesn't want to be on microphone. Boy, that'll translate real well in the audio podcast.
Oh yeah, that's gonna scrape.
Last topic here before we go. So we closed out the last topic with the top downloads on PlayStation for 2015. Now let's talk about some new PlayStation downloads for this week. PlayStation 4 update by Grace Chen over at the PlayStation blog. These are your new games coming, both digitally and some of these physical, but this is an emphasis on digital games that are available this week.
No.
Came out on Tuesday, most of them. 5-Star Wrestling Regenesis, out on January 20th. So that didn't come out on Tuesday, but it is out now because it is now January 21st, 22nd now because we're after midnight.
On 22nd.
Yes. A Boy and His Blob for $9.99. Yes. Klaus for $19.99. Attractio for $19.99. Baseball Riot for $4.99. Oh, I didn't mention that 5-Star Wrestling was $19.99. Chrysler Sigma for $14.99. Dark Cloud 2 PS2 Classic, $14.99. Inside My Radio, $14.99. Resident Evil 0, big one, $19.99. Stardust Vanguards, $9.99. Tachyon Project, $9.99. And The Deadly Tower of Monsters, $14.99. PS3 games, one game, Resident Evil 0, $19.99. Not cross-buy, mind you. PS Vita games, A Boy and His Blob, $9.99 on Vita, also not cross-buy. Atelier, Esha, and Logi Plus Alchemists of the Dusk Sky, $39.99 on PS Vita. Now, that's interesting because those games, the PS Vita JRPGs that come out, almost always keep their American price in Canada on the digital store, $39.99. Same thing when Danganronpa, another episode, Altered Spare Girls, came out. $49.99 in stores, $39.99 on digital, no taxes.
Small thing to note about Atelier, Esha, and Logi. I probably butchered that name. I don't know how it's pronounced.
No worse than I did.
Fair enough. Nipponichi Software on their website actually had a Vita physical exclusive for that game. It sold out immediately, but they're doing that now for PlayStation Vita games, where it's like the only way to get it is a limited physical release, and you're never going to see it again. They did the same thing with the Firefly Diary and R No Surge for the PlayStation Vita as well last year.
Cool. At least they're getting those limited physical runs. And that makes sense. It makes the perfect sense, really, to do it that way, because these things just aren't going to sell on a larger scale. Those who care about it want the physical copy. They have their chance to do it, and then they can sell the rest digitally, and then they're happy, and fans are happy, and then you're good to go. So I think that's good. It does make it a little bit of a pain in the ass to have to order them off of a site like NIS and that kind of stuff. But,
the shipping.
And the shipping, yes. Because, if you get it on Amazon, you get free shipping, but can't all be Amazon. Baseball Riot, $4.99 on PS Vita. Oddworld New and Tasty, $19.99. Oddworld New and Tasty, of course, has been out on PlayStation 4 for a while now, coming to Vita. Oddworld New and Tasty, another indie game that launched for free on PlayStation Plus. Red Game Without a Great Name for $4.99 on PS Vita. And then your demos for this week. This does for PS4, WRC 5F World Rally Championship. And your trials for this week, The Deadly Tower of Monsters for PS4 and Baseball Riot cross-buy on PS4 and PS Vita. Now, what's the difference between a demo and a trial? Some of you might wonder. Well, it's my understanding that a demo is available to anybody, whereas a trial is available only to PlayStation Plus subscribers. There are sales, of course, this week as well. I learned my lesson last week. I'm not going to read all of the games on sale, but I will, again, point out a couple picks that I think are important to look at. Mainly, two games. One, A Boy and His Blob, which comes out, has a PlayStation Plus sale price of $8.49. Sorry, not PlayStation Plus. Yes, PlayStation Plus sale price of $8.49. Yes. And then there is a Little Matter of Dark Cloud 2. Gets PlayStation Plus sale price of $11.24 this week, which I picked up. Streamed it just before we started this podcast, in fact. It doesn't count unless I say twitch.tv/WillJWood. That one counts. So yeah, that's about it. So those are your games for this week. February, going to be a very big month. That Crypt and the NecroDancer, which we now have an official bet on. And Gravity Rush Remastered, Mighty Number 9, very important. All Digimon. All games that I'll be playing on twitch.tv/WillJWood. So, any thoughts on those games coming out this week?
Everyone needs to pick up Dark Cloud 2 immediately. That game is amazing. It's by Level 5, as you may know, from Ni no Kuni. They also recently Yokai Watch. They developed those games. They're amazing games. Ni no Kuni 2's just been announced. Dark Cloud 2 is a stellar game. It's got cel-shaded graphics. It's got a great mechanic for the weapons, synthesizing, upgrading. The story's great. I'm pretty sure it connects to the first game. From what I've seen, what I've played, I don't know if you've ever played the first game. It looks like it might connect to the first game as well. I'm starting to play it myself. But it looks like... Why are you shaking your head at me? Don't do that. Don't. Just don't do it.
Dark Cloud 2 doesn't connect to the first game, I don't think, in any meaningful way.
Then why is it when, maybe not meaningful way, but in the opening of the game when you see Monica, which is one of the main characters of the game, fight in that castle and go into the room and see a character has fallen. That exact castle is at the end of Dark Cloud 1, and you actually fight in that castle in Dark Cloud 1. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it is somewhat connected in some way or another.
From what I am able to discern from a quick Google search, Dark Cloud is not connected to Dark Cloud 2. The games are obviously related. A lot of the items and monsters are retained, as well as the basic gameplay, but there are no reappearing characters or references to the first game. And further backing that up, Dark Cloud 2, of course, called Dark Chronicle in Europe, not Dark Cloud. It was a spiritual successor to the Dark Cloud series. It was called Dark Cloud 2 because Dark Cloud sold well in the West, so they wanted to capitalize on that. So maybe the castles look very similar.
Yeah.
But as far as I can tell, as far as I always knew, not saying that I'm complete. I mean, you could be. Maybe you know something that the rest of the world doesn't. But from everything I've heard and everything I know, no connection between the two games. But
all right, well, I mean, if you got the power of Google on your side, I'm not gonna compete against that one. You know, the power of the internet. But it just seems like they might connect. And then with what I've seen with the characters so far,
do they connect in your heart?
They connect in textures with the game. But yeah.
Well, of course they're going to reuse some of the textures. They're not going to make everything new. But do they connect in your heart? Do they connect in your soul? Because if they connect deep down inside of you, Sean, that's a connection nobody can ever take away from you. And those games will live together as lovers for as long as you believe in them.
Or in my closet with the rest of my PS2 games. But yeah, sure. But yeah, I'm super excited for Dark Cloud 2. Boy and His Blob. Never got to play it. Seems like a cool game though. I believe we talked about that 1 or 2 podcasts ago. I think we had a price point on that too. But I'm glad to see that it's pretty cheap too.
You predicted $14.99 with a PlayStation Plus sale, and you were absolutely correct on that. I think I'll have to go back and listen, which I probably won't do. I think you even said 25%, which is what it is. So in that case, excellent prediction for you. But you're going to be singing a song for me when that NecroDancer comes out as a PS Plus game.
And then you'll be singing a song later when it's not free. But it probably will be. I don't know. But it won't be. We all know.
Either way, the listeners are getting a song from one of us. So that's happening.
I mean, as long as it's a good song and not like a bad song.
I'm not gonna make you sing hate speech on the fucking podcast. Like, relax, seriously. Maybe I'll make you sing a Weird Al song. Who knows? All right, we gotta wrap this shit up. So, because this is now our longest episode ever, and if things keep progressing, every episode will just be longer and longer than the one before it. Which means we're gonna have to start paying for some serious hosting. But we need people to actually listen to this show for it to make a fucking difference. So, anyway, please subscribe to us on YouTube. We don't have an actual URL for that yet. But if you just search Level 38, what the hell happened to my voice all of a sudden? It's like an old man is dying. If you just listen, or if you just Google search Level 38 podcast. Yes, I do have water. Refreshing. Then you can, nope, still there. Then you can find us. All of a sudden, I got a very quick cold. All of a sudden. You can find us there. You can also search for us, Level 38 Podcast, on iTunes. And you can find us on Podomatic as well. So, please support. Tell your friends if you like the show. Jared Prime seems to like the show. Jared Prime, tell all your friends, although probably the same circle that you've already told. But, Jiggly's, all the people out there. This is one of our Twitch users. If you guys like the show, please support it. Please go subscribe to us on YouTube. Please subscribe to us on iTunes. It's free to do these things. So just give us support, please. We'd really appreciate it because we like doing the show. We want to keep making it happen. There will be a Patreon coming out at the end of this month for my Twitch channel, most likely. So we might roll some of the podcast into that maybe as well. get us some hosting and shit like that. Anyway, if you like us, please support us, even just by leaving a comment or subscribing, just telling us that you like us. It all makes a difference. So, before we wrap up, we have our segment of our top 50 picks. You have a top 50, I have a top 50. Now, first two picks for you, if I remember correctly, are Grow Home and then freaking the bird dating simulator. I forget the title.
Hatoful Boyfriend by Otome.
Yes, Hatoful Boyfriend. My two picks, first Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc, but that is I consider that Danganronpa series in general. Number two, I went with Axiom Verge. I went first last week. You go first this week.
It's going to be one of those original classics, PS1 classic. My favorite, probably number one, but whatever. Crash Bandicoot 2 for PlayStation 1. You can currently get that on the PlayStation Store, either for your, if you still have one, PSP, PlayStation Vita, or PlayStation 3. It's, I think, $10, $5 or $10. I think it's $5.99 or $4.99 or whatever. Pick it up. It's an amazing game. It's super easy to like get all of the stuff in the game, 100% the game. There's so many things to do in that game. I still haven't 100%ed it myself. It's been years. I've probably owned that game for quite some time. Probably as long as it came out. And that came out in like, I don't know, maybe 97? I feel like it came out in 97 or 98, but I've had it for a really long time. And it's one of my favorite games. And it's a thrill. And I would highly recommend anyone who's into platformers, who's into Naughty Dog, like Uncharted games, anything like that, pick up Crash Bandicoot 2. That game needs to come back. That franchise needs to be rebought. Activision's not doing anything with it. It needs to come back, and I want them to bring it back.
There have been prevalent rumors and little hints here and there all over the place that PlayStation might have or is going to purchase Crash Bandicoot back and bring it back. Even at PlayStation Experience, up on the stage, I forget who, but somebody's wearing a Crash Bandicoot t-shirt. There's just all these little rumors and these little just like breadcrumbs all over the place that it might be happening. Interesting debate that I need to bring up real quick though. You call for Crash Bandicoot 2, implying that you think Crash Bandicoot 2 is a better game than Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. So my question to you then is, because Naughty Dog seems to have a history of this, people thinking that the second Crash Bandicoot, I mean, this happens with lots of games that have trilogies, and a lot of it comes down to if the third game came out before the second one. Because usually what happens, especially in these PlayStation platforms, will be like the first game comes out. This happened with Ratchet and Clank, with Jak and Daxter, with Sly Cooper, all these games, Uncharted. First game comes out, is sort of like lays the foundation of what this could be. The second game comes out, expands it exponentially, makes it this completely new, great grand thing. Third game comes out, further refines that, but is more or less the second game, again, in terms of all the improvements and all that kind of shit, just refined. And I personally believe that if the third one came out first, then people would say the same thing about the second one. It's just about the order they're released in. But you think Crash Bandicoot 2 is better than Crash Bandicoot 3. So I'm curious to you then, on the list of Naughty Dog games, do you think Jak 2 is better than Jak 3? And do you think that Uncharted 2 is better than Uncharted 3? I want to hear what you have to say about that.
I'm going to agree that Jak 2 is better than Jak 1. Jak 3 definitely improved on everything. Going back to that, Jak 3, to me, felt short. It wasn't as good as Jak 2, but I know a lot of people would disagree with that. But anyway, for me, Jak 2 was great. It was a game where I could fully explore the city. I could explore with the guns, the weapons, the quests, the missions. To me, that was my definitive Jak game. When I pulled over to Jak 3, there was a lot going on which innovated the series as a whole, but I felt like they were doing too much with it. I felt like they were going for a light and dark side. They wanted to wrap up the story. They wanted to do everything with it. To me, I felt like they should have just ended with 2. I liked the ending of 2. I liked everything with 2. 3 was just too much for me. It was just, I finished it and that was it. I went back to Jak 2 many times. And then for Uncharted, 2 is still my best. Favorite game on PlayStation 3 is Uncharted 2. Uncharted 3, to me, felt not done. I'm sorry, Naughty Dog. I love you guys. You're my favorite company. It felt rushed. It felt pushed. Characters did not make sense. Like Talbot, he made no sense. There was times where he would disappear. He would be like, "Oh, Amir, I'm just gonna shoot you!" Bang, turn the corner, gone, out of nowhere. The acting's still great. Nolan North, really superb character. The mocap's great. They improved on so much of the graphics, but it just did not feel the same as Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2 was the definitive game for me. The multiplayer stuck out. I played that multiplayer the most I've played any third-person multiplayer game or even a multiplayer game at that time. It was the game for me. That's one that I went back. I wanted to platinum. The multiplayer just took forever. And then plus with just carrying on. I probably beat it. I beat it on normal, hard, crushing. If they made it a harder version on the PS4 version, which I haven't played yet, I'd beat it on that too. And I love it. Just Uncharted 3 wasn't to me. But so I would agree that both Crash 2, Uncharted 2, and Jak 2 are my favorites out of the Naughty Dog games.
Cool. I, of course, was implying that the first game in all those series was obviously not on the same level as the second and third game for all those series. Not on the same level.
Debatable.
Well,
Crash 1.
But Crash was the series that was the most like the three games were the most like each other throughout. Jak, of course, wildly different game from the second Jak game, and Uncharted, also quite wildly different game from the second and third game, just in terms of like Uncharted 1, without going too much spoiler territory, Uncharted 1 all within this one sort of location. Uncharted 2 and 3 take you on these globe-trotting adventures all over the place. Obviously, the gameplay is more refined and all that kind of stuff. Now, having said that, the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection on PS4 is worth picking up for anybody, even those who played through it again. And I have it on disc if you ever want to borrow it, because they did fix the gameplay in Uncharted 1 to make it more in line with 2 and 3. And also, I know that people thought the gunplay was a little off in Uncharted 3 when it first came out. They patched that early on, even in the PS3 release. But I will say this. I owned all three. I agree. Jak 2, better than Jak 3. I think Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped is better than Crash Bandicoot 2. But where I come down on the Uncharted one, because that's the most relevant of all these conversations, I owned all three Uncharted games when they came out on PS3, but I didn't play through all of them. I may have mentioned this before on the podcast, but I know I've mentioned it before at length to many people in many discussions, because it had things to do with like breaking up with people and just not being in the right time and place to play through these games at the time. I always knew they were good games, just never quite got through them. When the collection came out on PS4, super excited for that, jumped in, played through all three games on crushing right off the bat. Yeah. Platinumed all three games. Great time. Now, I don't know how different the landscape is now on the PS4 collection as it were when they first came out, but I don't think it's that different. And Uncharted 3 is fucking hands down the better game between Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 in my opinion, because I will admit the story felt a little rushed near the end, but it comes down to a couple things. First of all, personal preference as far as characters go. I fucking hate the character of Chloe so fucking goddamn much. Cannot fucking stand that bitch. Upset that she came back in Uncharted 3, but had a much smaller part in Uncharted 3. Elena all the way, but I just fucking hate Chloe. Also didn't find Lazarevic to be that great of a villain. While Margot was unfinished to some degree, I felt that she was a much more compelling villain, in my opinion, because she was a villain that you really wanted to fucking hate, right? But in terms of gameplay, in terms of the things that happen, in terms of the location, in terms of the overall refinements of graphics and shit, I think undeniably Uncharted 3 is better than Uncharted 2 in that. I felt that, and here's the other thing for me. I don't know when this became a whole Uncharted conversation, but it was bound to happen eventually because we talk so much PlayStation on this podcast. And this is sort of a quintessential conversation you have to have on a PlayStation podcast. And I will get to my top 50 pick, I promise. But anyway, I felt that Uncharted 2, to me, felt the most disjointed from the series of what Uncharted is as a whole. As in to say, Uncharted 3 has a lot more links to the first Uncharted, and it feels like Uncharted 3 is a natural progression to where Nathan Drake would go. From Uncharted 1, it has like relation to the ring and all that kind of stuff, which is very important to Uncharted 1. It has more references to Sir Francis Drake and all these different things. Whereas to me, Uncharted 2, while a great game in its own right, felt like it didn't really have much to do with the Uncharted mythos, so to speak, you know? Having said so, but I will say that my favorite location from the Uncharted series, all 3 games, well, there's also Golden Abyss, which I haven't played through yet, but I've heard it's actually quite good. I've heard it's at least better than the first Uncharted game, yes. But although I quite like the first Uncharted game. But the ice caves from Uncharted 2 are my favorite location from the series. But I would say that in general, I felt that 3 had better locations. It had a more grandiose feel to it. I really liked the shipyard and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that Uncharted 3, from a gameplay perspective and from an enjoyment perspective, I felt was the better of the 2 games. But then again, I also had years of all this Uncharted 2 hype that, you know, everybody says it's the best in the series, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, sometimes things can get overhyped that way, and people definitely don't overhype Uncharted 3. Yeah. However, having said that, I think hands down Uncharted 4 will be by far the best game of the Uncharted series, and I think most people feel that way, especially since it's going to be led by Bruce and Neil, who did such a fantastic job on The Last of Us, because as great as the Uncharted series is, and it really is a fucking amazing series, The Last of Us is better than any one single Uncharted game, in my opinion. Yeah. Hands down. And so to have an Uncharted game that's going to have more of maybe a Last of Us inspiration or feel to it. And that's the other thing I noticed playing through Uncharted 3. You could definitely see how they got to The Last of Us from Uncharted 3. There was a lot of locations in Uncharted, like that first mansion in the beginning, that felt like a location out of The Last of Us, and you could see these things in it. But anyway, but yeah, basically you come down to either Uncharted 2 or Uncharted 3, and there's a lot more people in the Uncharted 2 camp, but I'm in the Uncharted 3 camp, so I just wanted to state that. Anyway, my top 50 pick for this week is going to be Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Fantastic game. Really the pinnacle of the Sonic series, in my opinion. Of course, it was a Genesis classic. It had that awesome lock-on cartridge when it came out, because originally Sonic 3 was meant to be this whole game. They had to cut it into 2 games due to time constraints and to get it out for the holiday. Came out with Sonic and Knuckles as the second half, got that lock-on cartridge, pop it on, and then you got the cool thing where if you had Sonic 2, you could pop that on, play through the entire Sonic 2 as Knuckles, and if you had Sonic 1, you could plug that in, you get the Blue Sphere game, where you just got unlimited runs of... well, they were limited, but they may as well have been unlimited, because you'd never get through all of them. But Sonic 3 Knuckles is just really the pinnacle of Sonic. I've talked about this before, that there are some series that are better in 3D than 2D, and some do better in both. I feel that Mario is a series that's better in 3D than in 2D. I feel that Zelda is a series that's better in 3D than in 2D. I feel Sonic is definitely a series that's better in 2D than 3D. But Sonic 3 and Knuckles, absolutely love that game. Choked that it never came to PS4 or PS3 at all in any way, shape, or form. It is available on the Sonic's Mega Genesis collection, but you can't combine Sonic 3 and Knuckles in that version. And the PlayStation Store versions came out for Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, everything, but not Sonic 3. Came out on Xbox Live Arcade with the ability to lock on to Knuckles, Sonic and Knuckles. Come on, PlayStation. It's never going to happen now. But PlayStation, Sega, come on. Now, what would have been an awesome announcement for classic Sonic fans would be if they did like a Sonic Classic Collection for PS4 with like full trophy support and shit, like what they did with Mega Man Legacy Collection. Now, that would have been fucking awesome news, and I'd be all over that shit. But make that happen for 2016. Anyway, so that's my pick. So with that being that, we're going to, that concludes episode 3 of Sonic, what? Sonic. Episode 3 of Persona 4 Gordon. Episode 3 of the Level 38 video game podcast. This is now our longest episode by far, getting close to 2.5 hours. I don't think that's going to be the precedent. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't think we're going for 2:45. I don't think we're going for 3 the next week. But I think we're probably going to be most likely between an hour and a half and 2 hours will be most likely where our podcast usually lands. Thank you all for being here with us. We had a good Twitch audience throughout the whole thing. I know I didn't put too many comments in, but you guys didn't really talk that much this week. So I'll take that as a sign that you were all listening, and we're very entertained with that. Of course, you can tweet at us at Level 38 Podcast. You can tweet to Sean McCann at SmashBite. You can tweet to myself, Will Wood, at Will J. Wood on the Twitter, and you can send us any questions or comments or concerns about the podcast at Level 38 Podcast. You can tweet us there, or you can send us an email use that old-fashioned email at level38podcast@gmail.com. Sean, closing before we go out, what do you have to say?
In closing, I really like those debates we had. I think we should do more of those. Those are really fun. Because I'm not the kind of person that's like, oh, well, you're wrong because of so-and-so. But I really think that we had some really good ideas in there, especially with that whole Mario and Sonic thing, preferred 2D over 3D. I think that's a good topic for another day. Closing announcements, though. If there's anything that you would like to improve, like us to improve, I should say, or us to work on, if there's anything suggestions-wise, comments, let us know. Let me know over Twitter, or let Will know over his Twitter, or the podcast Twitter here, Level 38. More than happy to accommodate to those things. I'm more than happy to try to entertain you guys better, but if not, the silence says everything. Either we did really good, or it's just really bad, but that's okay, because whatever, we're here to talk, and that's just the thing. But yeah, it's great. I love doing this, and I'd like to keep doing it more.
Well said. I agree with all that. I agree with the debates thing too. I think that's really what I want out of a podcast anyway. So maybe we get to this thing where we do like I think we should still put the news in there and talk about our opinions on the news. Maybe we find a way to sort of like, make that a more quicker paced segment, and then we get into like maybe a big debate topic or something like that. Sure. So that'd be cool. Jared Prime says 10 out of 10 for debates, so he agrees debates, and he also says practice singing in the shower. And earlier on in the thing, he said rest in peace, Sean, when he has to sing. So he believes I'm right, and that's the correct thing for him to believe, because I am right. Anyway, we'll find out soon enough, because we should know by next episode. So thank you very much for all being here. That is episode 3 of Level 38. Catch you next week. Bye.